So sorry for your eardrums, potentially, PD. I think we figured out our issue. The microphone mixer board was set out of a maximum of 100 volume points at 54. So,
VPs, you could call them.
So for you, I saw what you did. I will change Wave's charge count here. I think I can do that here. I'm gonna give it a shot. So, what you need to do is the little message that you type to, when you're donating and it gives you an option to send a message, that's where you'd include the hashtag name of the character, and that's what should trigger it. So, let's just see if we can't. Oops, that's one too many.
And logistical question, Ted.
Yes.
How does that work with, if they type in Rick, if they type in Cedric, if they type in Rick the Brick?
It's whatever the little thing that's right next to their name is.
Okay.
Which is hashtag Rick, hashtag Brina, hashtag Wave, hashtag Rev.
Thank you.
I hope that should work. The only thing that I don't have working, which I will have to talk to our guy about, is exactly what you did. So it's a good field test in that you donated not typing to anyone specifically, and it didn't move the overall bar.
Okay.
It only, I think how it's supposed to work is if any of the names that are there are typed, then it counts all of those towards the total thing, but I needed to do all of the things all of the time plus also those.
All right.
So that looks like that didn't work either, did it? Rick. Yeah, alright. Well, that didn't work. I'll adjust it, but, I've been back and forth with this guy telling him that it doesn't work. It shouldn't require capitalization. It might be that fickle, though. I don't know. I know I tested it offline with just a test emote, and it worked just fine. I don't know why. I didn't actually have hashtag. I just had literally the word test, and that seemed to work. So anytime I did a test in Streamlabs, it counted. All right. So in the meantime, we talked earlier about our sponsor of Initiative Coffee Company.
Cheers.
Thank you, Brian and team, for being super badass folks and hooking us up with this new roast on Friday. We eagerly await the shipment to figure out what it is to do a proper, possibly, review of all of the roasts. We're also sponsored by our good friends at Elderwood Academy. They...
I said yourself.
Look at this cool stuff.
Did that? That did a thing.
What?
Yeah, okay, that worked. So it is capitalization is important.
Oh.
Because he donated $5, so Rev now has 11 charges, and that did move it.
Thank you.
So, okay. So that's dumb, but that's how that works.
All right.
It's case specific, so keep that in mind. But you did donate how many charges to Rick? 3 charges to Rick? 5 charges to Rick. Everybody's got ultimates in the tank now. So Rick should have a total of
My charge count just went up to 11.
Cool.
I'll do this. I gotta get a better. I gotta get like a mouse over here.
We could have made 10 louder.
Goes to 11.
All right. So that is working. So again, I will put in the link here as well to our friends at Elderwood Academy. Quentin and Dan, super chill dudes who hooked us up with these sweet deck boxes and spell books and dice towers and things like that. Okay. So that's out there. Remind me that currently Brina Reverence, and Wave will all get trinkets. So I will get those in a second. So what happened last time here on Evrand? The party finally made their way into the farming city of Westwick, kind of taken in by a lot of strange but also comforting in some ways the nature of this town. Very hard workers, very skilled workers, and they take a lot of pride in that work. So Rick felt right at home. It felt as close to a dwarven city in that aspect as he could be without being in Carrickfern or another dwarven city. There are also a lot of fruit smells in the air, as there is many different citrus fruit farms, but just fruit in general, all about. And probably one of the more interesting facts is there are no standard beasts of burden or cattle and things like that. They only use dinosaurs here in the town of Westwick. So they learned that dinosaur races are a thing. You could purchase your own dinosaur and race it. You could try to join on with a racing team or just bet on the races if that's what you fancy. This is the first town they've been in where you could sell easily and purchase some magic items. They visited a couple of different shops, and they had sold the couple of their magic items, goggles of the bloodsucker, and Rick sold something else. So they're now got a decent amount of gold kicking around in their pockets. The thought of purchasing dinosaurs to send back to Veilguard Spire, something that was discussed. A brief encounter, or at least near, I guess, walk by of Blake High Fury's mansion. This one of the sole survivors of the Gouager incident, who has a corner on the market for Gouager Leaf, being one of the only people on Evrand who still has it and the ability to grow it, and has a very beefed up security.
No one knows why.
No one knows why.
No one in the world.
And things were going well. The party was going to set out on the road to head over to where they believe Osler to be, when the police force of the town decided that, hold on, you thought you could get away with this, you. And Brina was mistaken for the notorious criminal Babyface Celine.
It had me thinking, what if she was just really good and she conned us the whole time?
That's the dumbest thing you've said since we started saying things to each other.
Oh, well. I didn't
So,
remember that one item.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brina was... evidence was procured by the party, as well as the use of some sending kits to prominent figures that the party has interacted with who have enough clout to get her out of that. And that's basically where we ended last time, was she was absolved of all charges and given a sort of writ in case she goes somewhere else and they mistake her for the same person, that she has sort of an out, that the people of Westwick recognize that upon receipt of this writ, the person holding it is known as Brina, not to be confused with the notorious criminal Babyface Celine. Even
Quite.
though they look very similar.
Strikingly.
Yes, almost
Strikingly
identical.
so.
And that is pretty much where we left off last time. So, you guys are in Westwick. It's afternoon-ish, probably evening at this point, after all of the trials and proceedings have completed. You have kind of absolved yourself from the police. You know that the evening races are approaching. And you have some gold in your pockets. There was talks of purchasing beasts of burden to send back to Veilguard Spire to aid in the reconstruction. Potential talks of just sending trustworthy folks and dinosaurs back, perhaps with a sum of gold as well to help that process. But I don't know where we really landed on any of that. So, what's going on?
I don't know why you both looked at me.
Yeah, because you're just going along for the
Yeah.
ride, man.
Sure.
The wave.
No.
the hardens are there? Would they help them or be more like of a hindrance because there are these big wild animals? Well, not wild animals, but that they have to feed and take care of.
Are you
Who are you?
right now asking
And Jim.
whether the beasts of burden will be a burden?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, Wave and Brina and Rev, let's go to the dino pen.
Do, 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 do.
Okay. So,
They
you guys,
have a lot of resources, okay?
yeah, you guys travel through the city, and again, you see a couple of those interesting facilities that you've gone by before. You see the Time Waste Inn, where you guys have procured rooms at, which you know is also a place to sell kind of unique magical items, things that don't really fall into the category of armor and weapons. You see the kind of Iron Throne-esque spiky building, Knife to Meet You, the shop that sells magical armors and armaments. You pass by the little shop that has the little sign of tiny little ponies on the miniature horses on the door there. And you make your way to one of the biggest stables, right towards the. You guys kind of came in on the river, so this would be the first you'd enter. Kind of if you were leaving out on the main road heading east, where you guys are planning to leave. That's where the largest set of stables are, and this is where they kind of rear most of the dinosaurs. I guess not rear, it's hatch technically, and train. And you can see that it is almost like a quarter of the front half of the town is just due to the sheer size of these creatures. And they all seem to be, there are wranglers in there with like ropes and on sticks and things like that. Some of them you can see, the ones that are kind of around more of the carnivorous dinosaurs have chainmail suits on and gloves, especially the ones working around like the babies too, because you need something that's going to help catch those little shiny dagger teeth before they puncture your skin. But there is a cavalcade of different kinds of dinosaurs here. So if you guys have a preference, this would be the time.
Are they trained for different jobs?
I mean, in looking about what's going on, yeah, it seems like certain ones, obviously, quadrupedal dinosaurs have more of a, not always, but they have more of a sort of, they're a lot stronger for things like pulling plows and lifting and moving things, but they're not going to be able to pick things up and put them up high. Whereas other dinosaurs, depending on what you get, obviously not like a T-Rex, but something else like maybe an iguanodon or something along those lines that is a bipedal dinosaur with working arms could pick up like a rock or something or a person and put them up high. If that was something you wanted to go. You also again know that there are places in here that outfit these creatures with mechanical upgrades. So like if you were looking to say outfit one of these long neck dinosaurs of your choice with sort of a crane attachment, they have a natural craning neck, you could add a hook with cable pulley system to also achieve that. A lot of different options here. It's really kind of what you want. I mean, they also sell smaller things like you can get Compsognathus to kind of clean up a lot of them. You see them running around. They are sort of the scavenger animals cleaning up a lot of the mess that's left behind, whether it be, they're sort of like feces patrol, right? I mean, they'll eat the other dinosaurs' waste, so they sort of can keep, with just what they have there, keep everything clean and relatively sterile. But if one of the dinosaurs gets rid of the problem that one of the other ones leaves, something to think about too. Or, employ somebody who will literally just shovel shit for you at the spire. I mean, you'd have to do that if it was horses anyway. But obviously a little scaling in the size.
Dino drawings?
Drawings?
Sure got spire.
No, I know. Which dinosaurs would be helpful? Can you still talk to people far away? Or did you use all those?
I have one more.
No. was gonna say we could talk to Brother Drander and see which ones would be helpful for him since we're not there.
I mean, on the same token, Brother Drander grew up in mostly around Wickham. I mean, he knows the area, but whether you're not positive that he's like a dino expert.
Oh yeah.
To know, like, if you're like, they've got this
No,
one.
not to ask which types would be helpful, but like what
I
kind
see.
of jobs he needs
I see.
help with. Like
I see.
would getting one that lifts things up to fix the barricade. Would that be more helpful, or like something to do farming for the gardens? Like, but like, is it too big for the gardens that is at the tower? Like that type of stuff. Just like, what are your needs? We'll try to find a dinosaur that can help with it.
Were the grounds big enough to house dinosaurs?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I mean, there is a stable. There was stables. Obviously, was originally designed for horses.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're planning to have an outfit of dinosaurs there, that can be an additional cost on the upgrading to them. If they're taller, you're gonna have to build up vertically or horizontally on this. It's designed to fit at the peak of the Vale Guard. I mean, you're only seeing rubbles and sort of the outside kind of foundation of a set of stables. So if you do have designs to make things bigger, wider, sturdier, whatever the case may be, really the world's your oyster at this point. You can make that call now. If you want to expand to, say, rather than outfitting maybe 15 to 20 horses, 5 to 10 dinosaurs, he hasn't. It's been like 2 days. He's not like done now. You
well,
have
that's
the
what I was
time
gonna
to
say.
make
Like
that
he would
choice.
have nowhere to keep them right now.
I mean, but it would be the same thing for horses too. Right?
Yeah.
Like there's no place to keep anything.
Exactly. Like I feel like it'd be more helpful for him just to like us to like give him funds and like him have people go in and build things up, and then once it gets to a certain point, then start expanding and getting like dinosaurs and all that type of stuff. That's why I was asking if it would be more of a burden.
Would you rather clear land with a shovel or with a herbivore?
Alright. So let's buy a dinosaur.
So.
And also, how are we getting this dinosaur to there?
I think we need a wrangler.
Hire someone to take him there.
Yeah, definitely need a wrangler. And a dinosaur to pick stuff up, and a dinosaur to clear things out, and a little dinosaur to pick up stuff after him. Unless it's more cost efficient to hire somebody, but I doubt it.
Is there?
Do we see anybody?
Yeah, there are obviously wranglers and trainers out
Sure.
about doing that, but you guys are gonna go into, I would assume, the office.
Yeah, if there's an office or like a poster board of
Yeah, there's a front office where people are
advertisements.
inside, and you can see when you head. Are you gonna go inside?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go inside the office, and you can see there is a counter, and there are like brochures of like different kinds of things, like how to tell if your herbivore is sick. Things about feeding the wrong type of food to the wrong type of dinosaur, scavengers and all sorts of things like that.
Yep. See, I knew that. Yep. Don't feed.
Is there one
meat
about how to take
the
care of the
vegetarian herbivores. Yep.
Yes, but it depends.
That's nice.
There is. It just depends on what you're looking for, because there's, again, a bunch.
Well,
So-
yeah, but I mean, like, there are ones that help.
Yeah, there are ones for
instruct.
like specific dinosaur types or dinosaurs if you're looking for one.
Okay.
Do we see anybody at the counter?
Yeah, there's somebody kind of bustling about, tidying up pamphlets and things.
He or she?
It is a she.
Hello, ma'am. Madam.
Good.
The little throat cough gets me
Little
every
noises.
time.
If you could assist us, we're looking for some dinosaurs.
She says, well, this
The
is...
wrangler.
all right, well, maybe let's start with... So, okay.
I'm a member of the Vale Guard Order. Yep, that's it. And,
Crushing it, Uncle Rick.
thanks. Oh. No,
He's not good with people. I'm sorry. Just let him power through
I
it.
miss my nephew. And,
Yes, the drill has been removed. The drill's actually not removed from the table. It's right there.
Oh my god, someone turn on the drill!
That's just Celine making noises with her mouth. I got confused.
I mean, if you pull it, it'll. Yeah.
I'm glad that you weren't pointing it at me when you did that.
Anyway. So she says, well, yeah, okay, that's wonderful, David. So what are you looking for exactly?
Ma'am, if I may.
Please.
We recently came into possession of some land that's a little untamed. We're looking for some herbivores to help clear some land, maybe pull some plows, and then maybe some of the little guys that eat poo.
Well, all right, that's.
Someone
See, you just say
picks
it
up
like
and
that.
put them down.
Sorry, you were both talking at the same time and I couldn't hear.
Ones that can pick things up and put them down to build walls and buildings.
This was my thought process. You guys don't have any farming experience, do you?
Yeah.
No.
Only hydroponics.
Yeah. First,
underground.
you need to clear the land, then worry about building it up. So if you got the one that could lift stuff now, you don't have the raw materials to lift things. So it'll just be wasting your money to feed it until you clear the land and are ready to build up. So that's why I recommended the herbivore. Rick,
I'm just getting information.
Yeah, I know, but you did mention earlier that you liked the Rick ones, which were the ones with the horns. So,
Yes, those
would that be feasible?
She says, well, you may need to be just a tad bit more specific. We got a whole bunch of them with horns. We got ones with 3 horns. We got ones with 3 horns and other horns. Really, there's a lot.
Is there
of
one
them.
that's covered in horns
Don't
and looks like this guy?
answer that.
You don't want that one.
But that would be the Rick one.
Just any herbivore that can pull a plow. Nothing too big. It's a relatively small area of land.
All right, yeah. She says we got a couple different options for you that might work.
And my friend here is partial to the ones with spikes.
And she's like, I can see that. And she looks Rick up and down as he's covered in spikes and says, well, why don't you, gentlemen, you want to come out back and we can take a walk through the pens in the back, figure out what you want to do?
It's delightful.
All right, well, come on back. So she'll kind of step out from behind the counter and kind of unlatch a door that kind of leads out the back. And she says, well, I mean, it's evening, but, you're not going to get the best light to see them, but we can go take a look. So she'll kind of lead you out back and you kind of go through a corridor that sort of wraps around the back of the building. And then there's a gated door with bars that she'll open and then push out. And it leads outside into the pens. And you're kind of out where you saw as you were coming in. And yeah, there are all manner of different dinosaurs out here. So she'll kind of lead you guys through sort of a channel that kind of goes in between all of the pens. Some of them are true pens like you would have to hold cattle in. Some of them are more higher walls with bars and things like that. And she'll lead you guys kind of back past most of like the medium-sized herbivorous and carnivorous dinosaurs towards sort of an area in the back where you can see, and she'll point out to a couple of different ones as you guys are walking. So she'll point to Stegosaurus, and she says, we got a couple different varieties of these, but see, she has some that are, what you would imagine as a Stegosaurus, like a full-size one. There are a couple that are a little smaller. These ones are a little bit younger, so they've got room to grow. They may be something you may think about while you're plowing the land that you've got, because they're smaller. They're not quite as strong as the big ones, but once they grow up, they'll be stronger, but they'll fit in kind of your space now, and maybe you can, grow with them as you need. And
May I ask a question?
sure.
The younger ones, are they as well trained as the older ones?
She says, well, if I'm being honest, they're It's tricky, right? Because when they're younger, they're more impressionable, so you can kind of teach them more. But the older they are, the kind of you can an older one. It will be a little bit more trained and it'll be more obedient. But at the same time, if you have one that's slightly younger, you may be able to train it the way you want to train it. She says we have hatchlings. We have ones that are just born. It doesn't sound like you're looking for that kind of time frame where you want to grow one from a young age all the way up, but we have ones of varying ages. But if you're going to go for something that's younger, not this young but younger than this, we kind of have a process that you need to go through. We need to prove that you understand how to handle these animals, because we don't want to we spent the time growing and training these creatures, and we don't want to see any harm come to them. So you need to pass a test to prove that you're ready to take on a young one, and you'll have the right means to train it and make it, and grow it, not just let it die.
I'll save you the time. We don't.
We know
Alright.
nothing.
All right. So that's fine. So again, young ones, good, will be relatively well trained, and if you have other means you want to use them for, these older ones, we have them mostly trained for farming and that kind of stuff. There are some folks that like to come here and pick them up for other purposes, whether they be to take them into combat or as other or defensive creatures. These ones aren't really trained for that, but if you have a younger one that you'd like to do that with, we'd recommend getting a younger one and training it in the way you want it to be. But you're sounding like you're just using these for labor.
At the moment, if we wanted to train one, we would also need to hire a trainer.
All right, that is true. Are you looking to do that then?
Potentially, yes.
Are the big ones too big for the tower area?
If it's the right fit, then yes. The person.
Oh.
The trainer.
Gotcha. We've, like I said, we've got a handful of folks. How long do you anticipate these jobs of yours taking? Because if we've got people that we're going to send out, you buy one that's a little bit younger and you want them to train them up on exactly how you're going to do this. Do you know exactly what you're doing at this place where you're doing all this work? Because if you're going to get there and like month 1, week 1, whatever the case may be, is this task for the creature, and then 2 weeks down the road it's a completely different task that might need a different degree of training, we're going to have to send somebody out there longer to have them train on multiple tasks. Because while these things are big and they are pretty gentile, their brains are not that big. So it takes a while to get them to train up on a bunch of different tasks. Like if you wanted to just plow the fields, that's one task. That's pretty easy. We can get them trained up to do that a week or two. But you're like, I want you to know how to plow these fields if we hook you up to a harness and a plow. But then I also want you to be doing bulldozing or something like that. Then that's a whole nother set of tasks, and that's more time. So do you know what you want, what you're planning to use them for exactly? Because we may have ones that have already been trained that are younger or smaller in size, runts of the litter that are trained for plowing or trained for dozing or whatever the case may be.
Did you guys have thoughts on that? Because again, I'll give you my thoughts, but because ultimately is your place.
I'm trying to think of like what was the biggest thing right now, because like the land is probably overgrown a bit, buildings are falling down, so like debris needs to be cleared and like stuff needs to be thrown out and good stuff reused.
And we probably should start a berm for our fence.
Yeah. I mean, you're just asking me as the DM, I assume, and not.
Speaking out loud, so
Okay.
bulldozing and plowing?
Okay, so you want to have something hooked up to a plow so they can pull it, and then you also want it to. So it sounds like you're not looking at Stegosaurus at all, is what I'm getting at. It sounds like you want something that's going to be able to use and push something to move debris out of the way.
Yeah.
Right, Stegosaurus is good for. Yep.
What do they eat? Like, can they just like eat the grass? Like
Graze.
sheep?
Yeah, I mean,
Graze
they
and keep
graze.
the-
I mean, there's a
The
little.
nature at bay.
Yeah, and they'll need a lot of it. So I don't know how overgrown this is, but these creatures are big, and obviously, again, if you get a smaller one, you'll less. And obviously, if you look
yeah.
for something like a carnivore, you're gonna have to be able to provide it with
Yeah.
whatever it needs.
But and so like that's not something that like needs to be trained.
No, that's
Or
just
anything. That's
natural
just natural.
instinct. Yeah.
Okay. So then yeah, probably plowing and
And again, they just if you have any kind of poisonous plants and things nearby, you may just need to cull that yourself beforehand because you don't want to get your dinosaur sick.
are there any ones that are specifically poisonous to them that we
Not
would
not
think
that
of?
would not that wouldn't be poisonous to anyone else.
Okay.
How about this team? Get the herbivore, hire someone to take him up there, and to clear out any poisonous brush. Keep him on for a 10-day or two, so he can train Brother Drander on how to take care of the beasts, and then revisit the situation after the land is cleared. If that is all within our price range.
But
And some compies to eat its poo.
won't we need one that's trained in either in like bulldozing to help clear debris?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh,
Like get one that'll
Do-
one that'll bulldoze
instead of
and
like
plow.
doing it right.
To get
Do
two
you have ones
dinosaurs.
that can do two things, or like is that something that needs to be trained?
That will need to be. I mean, unless you're looking at. You said you weren't looking for anything too big. Some of the older ones we have trained for both, but that's also going to be a little more costly because you're going to get that now right out the gate.
Right.
Going if you want to go with something younger that you're going to train it. I mean, that's going to take time, and it's going to the wages for our trainer aren't significantly less than just buying one of these outright that you can just go forth and plow and doze right now if you need to.
So one's more money, one's more time.
Basically.
Okay, so let's get a younger one and send a trainer. Because then if we have a younger one, they can start with eating the land down to a reasonable place, and then while that's happening, it will grow, and the trainer can work with it, and then hopefully get it to be able to do other tasks when the time is right, when like we need it.
Are you feeling alright?
I have thoughts, okay?
Yes, but they're usually not coherent or sensical.
Yeah, but that's because you guys usually do all that thinking.
Is it because of that?
So I will remind you that upgrading Melgard's Spire, the first step basically that I told you would be upgrading one of the 3 floors to a more livable space. Because as of right now, it's just a empty stone room. 1 floor and a third of the outer wall and one of the outbuildings will run you roughly 5,000 gold pieces and about 30-ish or so days, but that's with basically just Brother Drander and Sorrow at the moment.
And that's also minus 1,125 that we have.
That you've already left with him, yes.
And I don't think we have to roll for that bring.
It hasn't happened yet, no, not yet.
Because we're in the same day.
So, I'm just putting that out there that with more gold, but also with a beast of burden to help with that, it may significantly cut down on the time, for sure, right? Because if you're gonna have something, 2 people, a tiefling sorcerer and a cleric moving all of that shit's gonna take a while, about 30 days between the 2 of them doing that on top of, I mean, Sorrow's there almost full time. Brother Drander has clerically duties back in Wickham, so he's got to bounce back and forth. But yeah, this will immensely cut down on that. And it also will help you with the costs that it would be to clear all the grain away or all the overgrowth away. So it'll cut down the overall amount to get to that point. And you had said you wanted to do the smithy or the stables first. I don't remember.
Well, if we're getting to beast burden, we should
You
probably
want
do
to
the
make
stables.
it to the stables?
We
Okay.
should probably do the stables.
Because
first.
yeah, you had 3 outside buildings.
Smithy, stable, and barracks.
Correct. and you decided, well, now we're going to go with the stables as the primary building for the first go round.
Yes.
Sure.
Cool. Okay, and she says we don't really deal with any of the kind of upgrades and mechanical improvements. We just grow them like they're born here naturally. So if you want to do that, she says, I don't blame you. You can get, right now you'd have to kind of build or kind of come up with some sort of dozing type harness for the front to push things. If you were to say go over and get that, you can get one sort of permanently affixed that will move up and out of the way if that's a thing you want to do. Again, mechanical, cost things, but it's not gonna do anything more than just provide something that it will have all the time. She says, I've also seen them outfitted with some sort of tail attachment that has some sort of hydraulics that just goes extremely fast, and I've watched it pulverize rock in almost no time. Jackhammer.
Question. Was there a plow at Velgard Spire?
I didn't notice.
I think there was just a garden that
Okay.
Brother Drander and Sorrow had
And I feel like anything that would be
attended to.
there would be kind of
Shitty?
yeah, and like decayed.
Not usable? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Back in game.
Well, first we would have to figure out how much this
Yes.
will cost before we add upgrades, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
So, for a, well, let's pick a type. Let's
Okay.
pick
Yeah, so it sounds like you're going with a ceratopsian type dinosaur of some form.
Sure.
Right? Obviously, you've got access to your base Triceratops, one that everybody knows. But if you really want the Rick one, I think you're going to be looking more for like a Styracosaurus. So that's a Triceratops, but with spikes all along the frill. They're more or less the same in size and pretty much everything except when they existed and the amount of horns. Let's see here. I can get a zoom in here. So, Triceratops, Styracosaurus, right? So significantly more horns. If you need me to go beyond that, there are about 1,000 other different versions of ceratopsian dinosaurs.
That's fine.
That's
That
What is the
Fascinating.
price difference between those two?
okay.
Jake's got 4,000 gold.
you get to see their bones on Friday.
Okay, let's see here.
Selena and I just got super pumped because we're going to the Museum of Natural History on Friday. So we're going to get to see these dinosaur bones.
Alright, so she will tell you
They just said like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
that a full-grown, fully usable Triceratops will run you around 500 gold pieces. We usually charge about an extra. Really, it's an extra 50 gold for Styracosaurus because honestly, when it comes down to the work, it's really just more of an aesthetics thing.
Fair.
But more horns is more horns to polish and grind and make sure they're not, grown into it and that kind of a thing. So there's a little bit of an upcharge there, but it seems like your friend here likes the spikes, so that's
Sure.
fine.
Do you want the extra spikes for the 50 gold?
Are you gonna pay for the extra
And
spike?
she also says, but you said you did not want a fully grown one. And she says, if you wanted a fully grown one that was trained in multiple things, we'd be talking even more for the training. So you guys want a sort of a juvenile one that's not a baby and not a hatchling, but something.
Maybe if you got a yearling.
I mean, that's. You sure?
Wait.
Finish what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
All right. So she says, for something that sounds like you want one that's untrained. It's old enough to be trained, but it has not been trained yet, and you will train it on the tasks. Our trainer will train it on the tasks you want when it gets to where it's going. Am I correct?
If If it's already trained to pull a plow, that is not a deal breaker, because that is one of the 2 things we're going to ask
Yeah,
him.
like if it's already trained to do one, that's
So as long as it's young enough to learn more,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even if
yeah.
it already knows plowing, I think that would actually be
Better.
a benefit.
yeah.
for
All right.
us.
So she'll kind of look through, and you'll kind of go more to the Styracosaurus section, and she will show you
Yes, you
that you can see the full-grown ones, 25 feet long, significantly high, and she'll show you there's a couple of smaller ones. They have one that's basically just at training age with no training currently, will run you 300 gold pieces. There is one that has been trained, it's still younger, but has been trained in the with the plow, and that one is going to run you 400 gold pieces. But it still has room to grow, it still has room to learn, and it sounds like you're also going to be hiring a trainer to do that. And she'll say, well, all right, so I can look around and see who we've got available, and who's particularly good with these, with Styracosaurus specifically. But how far is where you're going, so we can get an idea? Because one, you're gonna have to travel there, and the maintenance, making sure it makes it there alive, and then also healthy, and then however long it's gonna take it to get it fully acclimated to where you're at, plowing what you need it to plow, and then also trained on dozing on top of that. We need to figure out how much time just in that, and then obviously travel time. He's got to travel back. I have to have you pay for that as well. So what are we looking at?
About 5 days travel.
All right, 5 days up, 5 days back, so 10 days
Yeah.
travel time, and then we'll say, I don't know, we'll probably call it 3 weeks, maybe 4 to be safe, to make sure it's all good to go on what you got, and you've got folks there that are willing to train along with the trainer, train the trainer kind of a situation, to teach it
Sure.
how to do what it needs to do, so when our guy leaves, your dinosaur will be well taught and
Yes.
managed.
I think so.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I was gonna say you should message Brother Drander after this, so that he knows this is coming.
Yes, so you're
Sorrow's there too.
Well, whoever, we should let them know that a dude's gonna show up with a dinosaur,
I agree.
and make sure they're on board.
Continue.
All right, so that will cost you. We got 400 for. Or well, you haven't decided which one you wanted, the untrained or because if you go for the untrained one, we're gonna probably have to add on at least another 2 weeks for the plow. But 400.
I like the one that's 400.
All right.
Wait, so it's 400 and then how much for the training?
We haven't gotten there yet. We're getting there.
Well, because
Patience. Good.
I don't know, we should find out the total for what the cost would be for each of the dinosaurs, including the training and all that type of stuff, time, and then figure out which one is more cost effective versus time effective.
She says, "Well, we don't really have. You say you want ones that are gonna do multiple things,
Yeah.
but we don't have any smaller ones that have that. We have larger ones, and you were worried about
Not
the
for
size."
both of them. I'm saying the one, because there's one that's not trained at all, and then there's one that has training in one of them.
Continue what
Right?
you're saying.
All right.
Yeah, he was getting to that point when you interrupted and told him to get to that point,
I'm
which
sorry.
confused him about which point he was trying to get to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Continue what you were saying.
All right, thank you, Sean. So for travel and maintaining the dinosaur, we're gonna say we say 10 days travel. We'll say that that's probably gonna run. Let's see here. Meals per day for the trainer, and then also the dinosaur. We'll call that roughly. We only need the dinosaur for the first 5 days up. So we'll call it 100 gold just for travel between getting him up there, make sure the dinosaur makes it safe. And then the actual training for about 4 weeks' time, which is 32 days here in this world. Training every day within reason, making sure the dinosaur is not overworked. Probably go for another. Let's see here. We're Were you looking on picking up anything else here? Just that you said you thought about other dinosaurs as well, besides just this one?
Maybe some of the little ones who eat poo.
Alright, just those, nothing else?
Yeah.
I mean, alright. So she says, I think we could probably call that if you're buying, how many? Do you have a thought process on how many you want? Of the little ones, because maybe we can get you some sort of a discount on multiple purchases.
How many would you recommend for one Styracosaurus?
3?
Why don't we call it 4? That way they can also take care of some of the human waste.
Alright, that's fair. Alright, so we'll cut. They don't really need much in the way of training. It's very simple. They just need to know not to attack your folks when they're sleeping.
Okay.
I'm just saying they're tiny and they're also scavengers, and if the opportunity strikes, they might make that take that chance. But that's pretty easy to train them out of it. They're pretty afraid of that, and if they have a ready supply of food, it doesn't really matter. So I'm not too worried about the training for them, but we'll call it 30 gold a day for the 32 days for the training of the dinosaur. And then you also want to pick up, that'll cover both, give you a little bit of a discount on that. And then for the compies, we'll call it 150 for all, or I'm sorry, we'll call it 175 for all 4.
And you said that the fresh one, without any training, would require another week of training.
At least one.
So it sounds like it'll be cheaper overall to get the one that already knows how to plow.
Right, and I mean, if it just so happens we have one that's learned, that knows how to plow, and that's what you're looking for. If you had a wholly different idea what to do, you'd want to go for the one that's untrained.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, if you wanted this to be a mount for battle, having it spent money and time being trained on how to pull a plow ain't gonna really do you anything.
Yeah.
You know, or if it's for racing, right? That's a whole different kind of a thing. So whatever you need it for. So she says, it sounds like, do y'all have plows and harnesses and things you need to do what you need to do?
That was our next step. We
Gotcha,
needed to
so-
see how much the beast would cost.
Gotcha. So you got that. Now you're looking for what?
I think just a harness and a plow for now.
All right.
If I'd like to talk to the trainer to see if there's anything else that they recommend.
Sure. Just so you know, it's probably going to run you about 50 gold for the harness and about another 50 gold for the plow, mostly just because of the size of these things. It's a lot of leather and a lot of rope just to make it work.
Now this plow, the harness, can we get one that will be able to...
Yeah, we build most of ours to kind of, they have notches in the leather to go up and down in size. We try to, for the ceratopsians, we kind of have the different sizes, but we kind of have one size fits all, but some of them are bigger, smaller, in minute ways, so we built them to we have one set, so you know that you have these harnesses that go to this dinosaur.
Alright.
So she says, I can go see, let me go back inside. You guys feel free to stand out here and look around and see what you like, and maybe something else will tickle your fancy that you want. I'm going to go back and say, just stay inside this zone here and do not put your hands over any of the fence or through any of the bars. We are not liable for any missing digits, arms, legs, and so on, because you're the one who's dumb enough to do it. So I'm going to go back inside and look at our chart and see who's free, and I will get you a trainer, and you can meet with them and see what you think, and we'll go from there. Sound good? All right.
How do you guys feel about this so far?
I got 1735 for the total.
How much money do you guys have?
Rick has 4,000.
How much was the poo eaters again?
175.
175 total.
So as you guys are here, you do see a bunch of other dinosaurs, right? And you can start to see the uses for some of these. You do see You see Stegosaurus, which has these plates on its back, these the spiked tail, which could be used for all manner of different things depending on how you want to use it, right? You see obviously all these different ceratopsian dinosaurs. You see Ankylosaurus, a small armored tank-like dinosaur with a large club on the end of its tail. There are different versions of that as well with spikes versus clubs. That could be used for pulverizing things, for hammering, knocking things in. You see Brachiosaurus, you see, Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, all these kind of long-necked dinosaurs in differing sizes and things. What they could be used for, really, it's anyone's guess at this point. You see the Pachycephalosaurus and Stygimoloch and all these other kind of ones with the large dome-shaped crown on the top of their head that is basically a thick skull that are constantly ramming into each other. You can see that potentially being used as a battering ram for siege, or also for, knocking things out of the way, turning things.
Maybe Brother Drander needs a riding dinosaur to travel to and from his...
You see things
chapel
like Gallimimus and other sort of long, tall, very fast, almost ostrich-like in design that seem to be very fast. That seems to be their biggest thing. They don't have a ton of flying dinosaurs here, mostly because most of what you think is a flying dinosaur is actually a reptile anyway, but that's neither here nor there. It's just hard to train if they can just fly away. You see things that look like a much cleaner, much nicer, if you will, versions of Tad Cooper. There are a bunch of those that are feathered. There are ones that are about 6 feet or so tall, about the size of a person, lacking feathers, scales again, still big, nasty claws on the foot. There are ones that are even bigger than that, about 10 feet to 15 feet tall. Just look like if you scaled those up in size. You can see there are little hatchlings kind of running around. There are ones that sort of look like Triceratops, but with no horns, just a large frill, no horns at all in the front, the standard beak. You do see a few juvenile T-Rexes kind of walking around. They still stand maybe 8 to 10 feet tall. There are a couple that are significantly larger than that. They're kind of isolated off in their own pen, maybe 15 to 20 feet tall. You see, what else we got? You see some that are, even though they seem to be younger in age, ones that look to be even larger than the Tyrannosaurus. Let's see. You see this one that's covered in feathers that is about the size of some of these T-Rex, and it has claws on the end of its fingers that are about this long.
Oh dear.
Let's see. Anything else that's worth noting here? You see some that are just big ass, looks like a giant ass tortoise or turtle. Thing is real big, and seems like it could maybe move really heavy loads because it's a big turtle. You see smaller ones, kind of thin, lithe crested heads. They seem to have movable, hands that could grasp and move things around. They're kind of quick. They hoot a lot. They're darting all around. Mottled greens and browns, and in some cases there's some that are kind of growing then different colors, kind of blues and reds and things like that. Yeah, and even more.
I just thought of another thought for the trainer.
Like to talk to the trainer about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we should try to make sure that all of the Compysauruses are females so they don't breed out of control. Because that'll work 100% of the time.
Yeah.
If they're all female, they can't breed.
Yeah, it's totally.
That's fair.
There's no way that'll
There's
ever
no way
happen.
that'll fail. Cool.
All right,
We should
so
ask
I
Brother
guess-
Drander if he wants a riding dino before we
Do
get
you want to buy him a
I was
riding
gonna say,
dino?
do we have enough money?
I think it would work for us.
How are we splitting this up? Are we gonna pay for it out of our own pocket right now and then get reimbursed from the ring at the Veil Guard?
Well, I mean, Wave, I know you don't got a lot of money, so don't worry about it.
That is
Very generous of you, Cedric.
You know, Brina has a much shrewder mind when it comes to money.
She's been burnt before.
No, he paid.
He paid.
He gave me gems.
It's fine. It's fine. He paid.
What? Well, I think we could split it, I guess, you know?
Well, because ultimately this is for the Veil Guard, so it should come out of a Veil Guard fund.
Right.
We don't have that fund on us right now because Brother Granger has the rank.
Right.
So whatever we put into it now, we should get reimbursed.
Well, no, you shouldn't look for reimbursement in an organization you're trying to support, but maybe, because it's for the better of everyone in the area.
You're only saying is because I have the most money.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. I don't want to be the one shelling out all the money for stuff
Well,
because he doesn't have any.
Wave.
I don't know how much you have.
He's not a part of the
Not a
party.
vanguard.
You're not Veil Guard, that's right. You're not even part of this.
Wave, I like the idea of getting Brother Drander a riding dino, but I don't think that this is the moment for it.
Yeah.
I feel like once the tower is in better shape, then that would be a good investment.
you
Maybe-
can probably just teleport it.
Maybe as a
I was
thank
gonna
you
say.
to him for helping rebuild.
There you go.
Thanks for helping us. We got you this riding dino.
That's rather. Oh, wait, you're talking Wave. It's rather enthusiastic of you, Rev. I like it.
I have warmed up to you guys, I guess.
So at this point, she comes back out with a clipboard and with some papers on it. She says, "All right, did you see anything else that you were looking for? Anything else you like? I'd be willing to, if you have any questions about what any of these creatures are, or what they're capable of, I would gladly let you know."
I believe we're set for today, but once the land has been cleared, you might see us again.
All right. You look like you want to say something.
Rick and Wave will just look at each other. No? Nothing? Good. No, 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 no.
That's just how their faces look.
Well, ain't that a shame. All right. Anyway, Harrison. Harrison, he seems like he's free, and he would be more than willing to make this trip for you. If you'd like to meet him, I can go get him.
I would like that.
Yes, please.
All right. Wait right here, and I will be right back.
Oh, before you leave, as far as the compy sources,
Yes.
what we're worried about being overrun, breeding out of control. What do you recommend for that?
Well, you said you're buying 4. If you get them all of one gender, it should be fine.
All right,
Well,
we would like that, please.
are the little ones carnivores?
They're scavengers.
They're scavengers, so they eat whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I don't know, do they eat each other?
Ooh, good question.
I mean, if there's ample food, no.
Good answer.
Not even if they're males, like the males aren't more aggressive towards each other than females.
Good question.
I mean, it can be, but they're all really. I mean, they're scavengers. If the opportunity is there and they don't have enough food, whether they're all female or all male, it doesn't
I
really
don't know,
matter.
like with some animals, like if 2 males are in the same area, they're like, dominance, alpha.
Well, if there's nobody else there to dominate for, there's no females to try to showboat for, there's no reason. So that's really a preference. If you want male or female. Some people like male ones, some people like female ones. There's really, without a trained eye, you wouldn't know the difference. So
Cool. I don't.
Then I don't care. Just 4 of the same, please.
we have slightly different color variations, if that matters to you.
I don't care.
Like what?
I mean, she says, well, standard is kind of like a darker green. We have some that are a little bit of a lighter green, almost like a lime green, or like a key lime green, if you want to think about it that way. Some that are a little bit darker, almost on the brown side. It's really up to you.
Are
Some
they
of them-
all greenish?
I mean, some you can get a little bit more on the brown side if you feel like dealing with whatever comes with an albino one. We may have a couple of those kicking around.
Interesting. That seems like it'd be
Some have spots, some have stripes. It's really your call.
Can we have 4 different ones?
If that's what you want, sure.
That way we can tell them apart. And we can name them.
Sure.
I knew that's why I did it, because I knew she'd want to do it. So, all right. Well, she says, "Hang on, let me go get Harrison." And do you want to see him and choose yourself, or do you want me to just pick 4 for you, different colors?
I
Or
don't
different.
care.
I know you.
Pick
do.
4.
Pick 4. I will pick you 4.
Otherwise, I'd be standing there for a long time.
Fair enough. I will be back. And she walks over to an area where there is a guy, and he is there are in the Stegosaurus pen, and there's a guy in there who's kind of training, and he's got sort of like again the lasso on the hook, and he's sort of moving and training some of these Stegosaurus to kind of turn their tail like almost upside down to pull the spikes through the dirt.
Cool.
It's very tricky though, because the tail isn't designed to orient that
Yeah.
way. So he's being very calm and like trying to keep the dinosaur calm to keep it to do that. Because if you think about that, that'd be like taking your arm upside down and like pulling it through the ground.
Yeah.
It's not really designed for that. It can be done. It's not really, you're not really going in a straight line. You're sort of going off to the side. And one of them is definitely getting it, and he's, teaching them that. And then the other one just doesn't. It seems like it's kind of frustrated, and you watch as it like turns, and he like tucks and rolls forward as it over his head, and he's his hat falls off, and he picks his hat up, and then he sees the woman walking over, and he jumps over the fence and comes on over, and you see he is human man, about 6 feet tall. He is very muscular, and seems like probably working with these dinosaurs, both handling, getting away from, and kind of standing your own. You kind of would shred a lot of any of the fat that you'd have on your body at this point. And he is wearing like, even though it's a little chillier, he's wearing like khaki shorts with like thick leather boots. He's got like an olive green vest, but no shirt on, just a vest, no shirt underneath, and he's got a faded reddish orange, like almost like baseball cap design on backwards, and he's like, "So, I hear you're looking for a trainer. My name's Harrison. What do you want to know?"
My name is Reverence. This is Cedric.
Put it there.
He'll shake, and it's a firm grip. To Rick and Wave, it doesn't feel like quite as strong as the both of you, but still quite strong.
Does my thingy
I like
tell
him
me
already.
about him?
Yep. He is. It's coming up as a 5.
Okay.
This is Brina.
Hi.
Wave.
What's up, man?
We want to outfit you appropriately for what you need. We purchased a plow and a harness. We're also looking to have this dinosaur push, like bulldoze. Did you guys want to give it a permanent fixture, or just something you could hook up to it?
Does it hurt them to alter them with the mechanical stuff? It seems cruel to me.
I agree.
He says, in my experience, it doesn't really seem to one way or another. It just takes getting used to, right? If you spend your whole life not wearing armor and you started wearing armor tomorrow, it's going to be very different. You're going to have to take some time to get used to it. It may chafe you a little bit, till you figure out exactly, get yourself worn in. But at the same time, it's convenient. It's really your call. We can get you.
How much does it cost?
He says, I don't really.
I don't know if you have any idea.
Yeah, we can get you, a blade to put on front to do it, manually, that we'll have to hook up and harness on. But if you're interested in making that a permanent fixture, there's all manner of, you think it up, more or less. How could this particular task or this particular piece of a creature be enhanced by some sort of mechanical device? And there's probably a way to do it. You know, I mean, some people take it to the extreme, and you know, here we pretty much just train them as they are, you know, as they come out of the egg. But sometimes it's almost a necessity in some of these cases where things, dinosaurs are born underdeveloped, or something isn't fully developed, or they lose something in an accident, and these mechanical upgrades, if you will, are really more of a means to keep them going rather than having to put them down. Some people would rather do that than alter it, other people would not. It kind of started, sometimes it even starts as a necessity and then becomes the norm, right? Like we did have an Ankylosaurus born with a really underdeveloped shell on the back. The armor plates were barely there. Vital tissue and organs were almost exposed. So one of the folks over there came up with the idea to outfit it with sort of a metal covering on the back to protect it, and then also installed hydraulics to allow it to carry things and then lift and dump those things out. And that's become kind of a standard thing for certain people. But it started as a means to save an underdeveloped creature that in the wild would die, and is now a thing that you can see moving around.
My opinion is having a attachable and detachable one isn't. It's fine.
That's how I feel.
So we'll go with that. Can you guys provide the
Yeah, we can get one that'll outfit
thing
for this creature. Yeah.
Is there anything else you recommend that we purchase for your training and or expedition? Now that you have all of the details, I gave him all of the details.
That's fair. He says no. Did you run into a lot of trouble on your way down?
Not
Gotta
really.
worry about anything on my way up as far as
We did travel by river though,
We did.
so that's not really gonna be
no.
for
That
one
makes
going
sense,
up.
but-
I mean, it's possible, but we're going upstream, so it's not.
There's
really,
a waterfall. It wouldn't work out well.
Would you feel more comfortable if we tried to hire some kind of guard?
He says no. I think between myself and creatures you're purchasing, and a couple of my own, I don't think we'll have much of an issue making the travel. We should be okay. I mean, more often than not, most things are scared of the largest thing around, and chances are this is going to be one of those.
Thank you. When can you depart?
He looks over at the woman, and she's just like, and he's like, well, I'd like to get some dinner tonight, and maybe rest, so I could probably leave first thing tomorrow morning if that works for you guys.
That
Sounds good.
is agreeable.
All right.
Do we pay you directly for your time, or do we pay the kind lady who helped us earlier?
So he says you can pay her. She handles all the money, and I'll get the salary. Now I'll get a little bit of it up front to make the travel, make arrangements for what I need to make sure I can get up there fine, and then I'll have a little bit that I'll bring, materials and supplies I'll bring with me, and then I'll get the rest when I come back upon successful training.
Good. It is a pleasure to meet you, Harrison.
And you guys as well.
All right.
Shall we pay and depart?
How are we paying?
I did have a thought on that.
Yes.
You may have forgotten, but in this carpet, we do have
Ooh.
2 magical items that none of us are currently using.
That is
would
true.
be we could sell.
Okay.
Sure.
We have the robe of serpents and the inspector general. So the robe of serpents would probably go to the Time Waste Inn and
Inspector General, a knife to meet you.
yes, knife to meet you. So we could go sell those and then
Okay.
to generate the funds, unless Cedric, you want to pay now and we will reimburse you with the money we get then.
That sounds fine.
Okay.
All right. So you pay the lady the 17, whatever it was.
1735. Oh, plus plow.
Yeah, plow will be another 50 gold. No, actually probably another 100 gold just because of the material.
I thought that was already added in.
No,
I'm sorry, the
the-
dozer, the dozing blade.
Yeah.
100 gold.
All right. We pay, and then we head over to Knife to meet you.
All right, you do. And you guys walk inside, and it is basically just a gallery all around of blades and armor pieces, pauldrons, daggers, swords, spears, harpoons, hammers, flails, you name it. They've got it here.
Cool.
And you can hear the sound of hammers on anvils, multiple, as almost sort of like a chorus in the back. And there are people, in the shop, shopping about, looking at things and like looking through glass cases. And there's actually a fair few people here working. People kind of like pointing down into the case, and someone like taking out like a dagger, show them, glints in the light, jewel encrusted, and that kind of a thing. And you guys are in the shop.
Go up to someone at the counter.
All right, and you'll see someone, and they'll say, "Yes, can I help you?"
We would like to sell some magical armor, please.
And they say, "All right, can we see said armor?"
Yes.
I say, "All right, let's take a look." And you watch as they pull forth a pair of spectacles that they don. They kind of situate them on and start to turn over the leather in their hands and kind of check the seaming and the studs and just the general craftsmanship of the armor itself. And then they also, you see the glasses flare with a magical energy as they begin to scan things slightly more closely. And they say, "Well, this is an interesting enchantment on this particular piece of armor. So, and you're looking to just sell it outright for
Yes.
gold?
Yes.
Okay. Make me a persuasion check.
Are you proficient in it?
Wanna help him? Can you do that? Is that this character?
I am not proficient in it, but I do have a pretty decent charisma score.
Okay.
I do not.
I have a +5 in guidance.
Too late now. You already rolled. But that's a good thing. Too late now. He already rolled. If
Yeah, I got a +5.
you walk into a shop and start doing magic, to casting a spell on somebody before they talk to you, wouldn't you be like,
Wait a second.
14?
For
14?
guidance.
And she kind of looks through the spectacles again, looks at you, and kind of says, I mean, it's pretty good. But she says the tricky thing is, originally I would think it would be worth less, but it's not a magical. It's not an illusion, is what I meant to say. It's a magical transformation.
You become.
Right, which means that
hobgoblin.
you will stand up to physical inspection. So if people touch your skin or touch you, you will feel as though you are that creature. You won't pass through it and get that kind of thrown off by the illusion. So while it is unfortunately only one form, you are that form.
Yes.
So I think I could probably do 4,000 for that.
Can you do 450? 4,000.
50. 4,050 gold.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "I like your moxie, but I got a business to run."
Understandable. I will take the 4,000.
And she will say, "All right, let me draw up the paperwork," and she'll go and do that. And you will get 4,000 gold for the Inspector General.
I will repay Cedric,
1835.
and then say you guys should start a Veilguard
Yes,
fund. You
I
should
agree.
put the rest of that in.
I agree.
So,
How much is left?
how much was the total before?
4,000 minus 1835, right?
No, the 1835 is what I was asking.
It's 2165.
So, Brina, since you are the best with your money,
2165.
do you want to be in charge of the party fund?
Sure.
And
You disqualified yourself when you bought a horse for 1,000 gold.
you didn't know about that, did you?
I've been told about
You
that.
have been told about it, yeah.
This is a really nice horse.
Yes, I met her. She was a very nice horse.
Uh,
Let's hope she's not
And-
blue.
they say, what else? Do you have any other arms, armament, things that are just sitting around you're not using that you'd like to sell? We've got gold here to do it.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Nope.
Take out vigilance.
Okay.
Say I have this. It's magic, as you probably can tell.
Indeed.
What would you give me for this?
Can you make me a persuasion check?
13.
You're looking at your sheet, right? Not. Okay, just want to make sure. 13?
Yep.
She says it's unfortunate that that's only fiends.
Mm.
There was a
But
Wi-Fi.
4,000.
Okay. I'll take it.
Alright. She'll draw up the paperwork. You sell vigilance and you are now 4,000 gold richer.
All right. Did you guys want to also sell the robe of serpents, or keep that in Carl as kind of a reserve source of funds?
That
Okay, that sounds good.
She says, yeah, she really can't probably do much for you on a robe, but if you have it and you want me to take a look at it, I might be able to give you a ballpark on what you might be able to get for it.
Sure.
one. That'd be nice.
Again,
Do you want to take a look at it, Ted? Or do you remember what it does?
I remember what it does.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna give 2,000 for the Veil Guard Fund.
Nice.
And she says, it's interesting and it's definitely a unique thing to have, and it definitely will surprise people. Could definitely be useful too for if you were a sneaky type, right? If you needed venom, you can get the venom from the snakes. But I don't think I think you were looking at somewhere in if you're lucky, maybe 500 gold for this.
Thank you.
Probably not. If you got more than that, take it.
Thank you. Alright. Go to sleep and set out first thing in the morning?
I was gonna say, it's nighttime, right?
Ish.
Dinner!
Alright.
Yeah, so you guys can go to the dinosaur barbecue. There is one.
Oh,
here.
sure.
So it is all surprisingly dinosaur meat.
Good.
But it is, depending on the type of dinosaur you get, sort of changes it. You see that I would say most herbivorous dinosaurs are more along the lines of a steak. All grass fed here
Ooh.
in Westwick. And there's not a ton, obviously none of the scavengers are on the menu. But any of the larger carnivorous dinosaurs are like they have their own unique flavor. So I guess it would be like and it's sort of, I'm not gonna say it's an acquired taste, it's just really whether it comes down to you particularly liking it one way or another. But it is like a slightly I don't want to say this, like a more tender, again also flavorful and like slightly fattier chicken.
Okay.
depending. But like each one will have a different taste, which like you may like it this one and not the next one. You
Yeah.
may, however that works out.
Like gator, maybe.
Like gator, yep. Not for everybody. It also depends on how it's cooked.
Do they have a sampler platter
Of course, yeah. You
of
can.
the different meats?
Yep.
Is it more of a family style sampler platter or a sampler platter for one?
Yes.
They have both.
Do you guys just want to get the family style sampler?
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna get my own sampler platter.
Family size
Yeah.
still.
Yep.
yeah, that
I'm
makes
assuming.
sense.
Yep.
All right.
Do they
So.
also have ribs?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, sampler platter and ribs.
And depending, so you can get like ribs, right? Like you would get. But if you are like, if you're really into it, you can get like Flintstone style, like fucking giant ass rib that will go on the side of your car and knocks your car over, because they have large
Yeah.
herbivorous dinosaurs. So you can get like a Titanosaurus rib, which is like it's about as tall as Rev.
That's pretty tall.
That's a big rib.
I'll also have that.
All right.
There's
So
something slightly smaller than that, but like bigger than normal ribs, but are still like a couple of them.
yeah, you can definitely get that. So the family size sampler platter is gonna run you 10 gold.
Okay.
So that's another 10 specifically for Rick.
I will cover the sampler.
Your ribs
Yes.
will be like 5 gold for like a rack of 4 ribs that are like yay big.
Cool.
And the Titanosaurus rib is like 25 gold.
Oh, I'm interested in that. No, it's alright. Rick, I'm gonna pick this one up. You front of the bill for the dinosaurs. This one's on me.
All right.
That was courteous if you wave. What type of ales does this
I was
establish?
just about to ask that.
Yep.
Yes, quite.
And they're like, kid, come on.
She'll have
What?
She'll have a dino milk.
Dino milk.
Ugh.
It's also not a thing
not a
because
thing.
they don't have.
Oh,
They're not mammals.
They don't have
Not even
nipples.
just like a little ale.
No, I meant your brand.
Oh,
Milk. Like, it's on the. It says it right here on the menu. It says milk, but dino milk because it's dinosaur barbecue. Yeah, because I totally meant that.
Definitely.
So they
Definitely
have they have Bold Light, obviously, as
Mm.
every place does. They have Fappy Henderson's cream ale imported over from Bin.
Ooh.
It's pretty good.
It's
I
good
got it
ale.
over here. Let's see, what else will they have access to? Back to my alcohol list in the back here. Oh, that's the list of monsters to throw at you guys. They have a very small amount, so the price is significantly high, of the triple X stuff from Felliston down here. Not a ton of it, but a little bit. And their specific drink that they have here is, let's see, what do I want to make this? Would be, let's see. Okay, so it is like, what's the freaking drink called? I can't think of it, but it's like a blue curacao type. It's like a mixed drink.
Hypnotic?
Not hypnotic,
Oh,
no. Like blue curacao is the type of. I mean, it's an alcohol,
Yeah.
but it's like a mixer. So it's like a cocktail.
Oh, okay.
So it's blue. It's kind of fruity. It's definitely like in our world, like someone like Rick drinking this would be probably looked down upon, but not here.
Real quick side note, and you just reminded me of this. When I went to see Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, the musical, the signature drink that you could buy was called the Lightning Mule, which was a Moscow Mule with Mountain Dew voltage in it.
Interesting.
I said out loud, I want one of those. And I was there with my buddy Shane, and he was like, all right. And he misheard me. He thought I just wanted a Mountain Dew, so he ordered us 2 Mountain Dews. And they only had Mountain Dew Voltage, which is fine, but like, I wanted the $14 mixed drink with Mountain Dew in it. But yeah, it reminded me of that when you were describing it. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
I would, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
vodka, ginger beer, Mountain Dew Voltage.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I can't remember what the name of that actual drink is, but yeah, it's basically like I don't know, consider it like an Applebee's Fridays electric blue lemonade,
Ooh.
like one of those kind of
Yeah.
a things.
Alright.
So that's like the signature cocktail of the dinosaur barbecue. But again, they also have like a relative standard fare of alcohols and hard liquors.
2 cream ales, please.
And you are hooked up.
She got arrested earlier. She earned a beer. Calm down. Don't make me regret it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have the Henderson and wave. I'm gonna have the blue drink.
Yeah, alright. So you guys, Fappy Henderson cream ale over here is only, let's see, like 2 silver.
Alright, we're gonna double that order.
Alright, and the blue drink is, like 3.
Yeah. Cool. I'm just gonna
Open a tab.
overtip. Just
Gotcha.
throw a bunch. Cool.
Alright. So, you guys have your drinks and your dinosaur dinner. You can make the decision on whether or however you feel about dinosaur meat for your characters. That's your call. What you like and what you don't like.
Wave's just getting hammered
Yeah?
for a change.
Wow. Alright. Nice.
I'm going in on these ribs.
You have a little something right about here.
So the drinks aren't too strong. It's like a
Oh,
fruity
God.
mixed drink.
I mean, it's got alcohol in it, right? You can taste it. And you could ask for it a little harder if you want, a little less lemonade, a little more alcohol. And then it's like a right now it's like an Applebee's type mixed drink where you don't taste the alcohol. You taste a nice, refreshing blue colored lemonade that has a small amount of alcohol in it. You can tweak that if you want. As you're here for a while, eating and drinking, the bartender can kind of pick up what you're putting down and a little less lemonade, a little more booze, to the point where you can kind of get that bite, and it's like a nice lemonade flavored booze.
Mm.
And over time, it's also like saccharine-y sugar. Like without a lot of water, you're gonna probably be hungover just due to the amount of sugar that you're having.
I got
But
one
you
more.
can eventually get pretty hammered with several of these drinks.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right.
And you guys do that.
Yum, yum, yum.
And then you guys are gonna go to sleep.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then you guys go get a nice dinosaur-filled stomach full of rest at night, and in your rooms. That's what I was trying to do before. When you go to sleep, there are some things.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Let's find out what those things might be. Here we go. Brina,
Yeah.
in your room, you find a cord with a single wooden bead. Each time you achieve a new level of enlightenment, another bead manifests on the cord.
Ooh.
Wave. You find on your bed also a thing. What is it? I don't know. Let's find out. It is. We just check our trinket suggestion little section. See if there's anything for fighter. I don't think so. Nope. Okay. So you find 99, huh?
Feeling fine.
You find a. That would be weird. An eye patch. That's it. And Rev,
Yes.
you find a giant bag of cookies.
Ooh!
They're your favorite cookies.
I'm just writing it down as a giant bag of snickerdoodles.
That's fine. That's what you find.
The service at this hotel is top notch.
Rick doesn't find anything because he didn't get any tricky donations.
Oh.
He's not here.
Yeah, fair.
Alright.
All right, so we're gonna take a short break here in a minute, go get some coffee. We will be right back. A couple things I forgot to announce at the start was we do have a giveaway going on for a copy of the Stranger Things D&D starter set and a set of dice. That giveaway is ongoing until the 11:59 p.m. next week, so we will draw the winner and announce it here on the stream. So be sure to tune in to find that out. Also, if you respond relatively quickly to my congratulatory email, it doesn't come out to the general public till May 1st, so you may have this in your possession with the starter set, the starter rules, the adventure, the 2 Demogorgon minis, the boring set of blue dice that comes with the adventure and the original starter set, and the secondary set that I'm sending you within several days prior to the general public having it. So that's a little fun exclusive thing you can get access to.
Tell them how they can enter the
You
contest.
can click that link I just posted in chat. All you need to do is say you want to enter it and follow on Twitch, which most of you are already doing. There are a lot of other things you can do to get extra entries. You don't have to. If you choose to subscribe to the channel, whether it be with your Twitch Prime subscription or otherwise, that's 10 bonus entries. And that is that. And then more to come about D&D Live in May. I'll talk more about that kind of as we're wrapping up towards the end here. But we're going to go get that coffee.
Coffee.
And if you guys missed it earlier, if you do decide you want to donate trinkets or anything to anybody down below with those bars, in your little message that you send, make sure you type hashtag whatever the character's name is. And apparently it is case sensitive, so keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, we'll be right back. We are back.
Hello.
Again, Internet. One thing I forgot to mention is we did upgrade to a different merch store, which you can now see below on the Twitch panels, or you can type !merch to see it. But we're now using Streamlabs, their merch store. The prices of the merchandise are slightly higher, but the quality is also infinitely higher. So if you want to get, say, a Nerd Immersion t-shirt, it's now a nice poly-cotton blend, not 100% ring-spun cotton or something from Gildan, one of the companies that makes stuff cheap, but also you get what you pay for. So these are much higher quality. You can now get coffee mugs in both 11 ounces, which is your normal size coffee mug size, or 15 ounces, which is slightly bigger. So that'll be like the second dial, the travel mug size on your Keurig or coffee maker. So you can get basically 1.5 cups to 2 cups in one of those mugs. But it will also fill the reliquary if you buy that merchandise. So you can fill the reliquary and make fun stuff happen to these folks, but also get yourself something nice in the process.
That's a win-win.
That is a
That's
win-win.
what they call that.
Yeah, and there is new Belladonna stuff in there as well. We just added the hoodies for them, so the arms out, hearts open, or whatever. I always fucking mess up the slogan they came up with. But it's got that on the front, right over the heart, and then the logo on the back. So there's some cool stuff in there. Go check it out.
Is Oz still on the Evrand one?
I haven't gotten around to uploading those to the new one.
Okay.
So yes. Yeah, the new, because it doesn't let you group them, the new site. Like
Okay.
it's just everything is there. So I have all the Nerd Immersion based stuff, and then we did because Katie came up with the shirt and the slogan for them. So we have that, arms out, hearts open, and then the new, the Belladonna's logo is all we have. And the Stick Vannon poster, the hero of Princess of the Apocalypse, which I would not pay $13 for. But if you want to own that wonderful stick figure on your wall in a nice 11 by 17 print or 8 by 10. All you.
You go for it, Imran.
More merch designs coming soon. Cool. Okay, so it's the next day.
Rolls the d12
Who rolls the d12?
I don't know what you're talking about.
for the gems.
He doesn't know. He wasn't here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They got a ring of unending wealth.
Oh, now I remember. Different gem every day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Would you like to roll, Sean?
No.
Okay, cool. Somebody else roll the d12 then.
Can I borrow a d12, please?
That's why I said no, because I don't know where my d12s are.
That's all you.
5.
Okay. So a 5 is an onyx gemstone worth 15 gold pieces. Somebody put that down. So Brother Drander has another 15 gold pieces for the Veil Guard fund. So,
Okay, so while I was peeing upstairs on break, what did you guys land on for money? What's the plan?
So, Wave was gonna give $1,000 to Harrison.
Mhm.
Gold.
Yes, gold, 1,000 gold to give to Brother Drander.
Mhm.
Rick, I'm gonna go on a limb and say he's gonna do the same thing. I don't think Jake's gonna be too pissed at me for that.
No, I support your decision.
Yeah.
Even
Okay.
if he is pissed at you.
So you'll send 1,000, he'll send 1,000. We can send 1,000 from the actual party fund.
Okay.
I'll send 1,000.
okay.
So
And then
I will
that's-
pay.
That's the first, yeah,
That's
4,000
4,000 plus whatever he
whatever he
has.
has. Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I will pay for the 5,000 gold pieces for the
The first.
third.
So I will start prepping the message to send to Brother Grinder.
Yep.
While you guys continue on deciding what we're doing for our morning.
Okay.
Is there anything else we wanted to do in Westwick? Or wasn't our main thing to come here, sell magic items,
That was the main thing.
maybe
Just
find some stuff to go? So we should keep traveling
East.
east, yeah, to find.
the dino races were today?
They're every day,
Every day.
multiple times a day.
Mm.
So, to remind you what your options are of things you can do here in town. There is the dino races. You can just bet on a race. You can enter a race or enter with your own dinosaur or try to join a racing team. Those are options that you have. You can, there is the shop that sells the miniature horses, which again, they're like this big. Just want to point that out, not like a miniature horse in the real world. There are several tool crafters and tool supplies with, based on the way you've seen the workmanship here in the town, the tools must be of exquisite quality. You went to the Time Waste Inn and you went to Knife to Meet You, so you know that you can purchase magical items. You can also purchase magical arms and armaments and things of that nature here in the town if you wish to do so. Let's see, what else? There's the place you can go to buy upgrades for dinosaurs, mechanical upgrades for dinosaurs. Tad Cooper would also be a potential option for that as well if you wanted to buy upgrades for him. He is technically a dinosaur, so you could buy. You don't know what the options are because
Yeah.
you've never been. A couple other things. Let's see, carts, also options, right? If you wanted to buy a cart or things here, obviously they have a lot of beasts of burden and things like that. You could buy. You guys are currently on foot. You could buy additional creatures to cart with or without a cart, but basically to move yourself faster heading east if you wanted to do that.
We're going on the main road, right?
You are going on the unless you
Right.
tell me otherwise, that
Right.
was the current plan. So that will potentially speed up your travel. You could buy more again beasts of burden type creatures, dinosaurs with a cart, and then you all could basically put your feet up and ride if you really wanted to, or ones you could ride yourselves to speed up the search for Osler. Let's see. What else? We talked about the tools. The only other thing that you've kind of seen here that's slightly different is scythes. typically used for reaping wheat or other grain type materials. They have noticed and kind of figured out here in the town that scythes, when designed the right way and reinforced in certain areas, can be upgraded and equipped to be used as a martial weapon in fighting. So they also have several, some of the shops, especially Knife to Meet You, has scythes that are usable as weapons. Rather retrofitted from the grain harvesting to be a functional weapon. As well as, again, I think that's pretty much it. Obviously, if you wanted to buy fruit for your travel, whether for cooking or to make, fresh orange juice, apple juice, whatever, you can get access to that.
Do we want to delay our travels anymore? Do we want to get right on the road? I'd be interested to see some dinosaur racing, but that's just me. Did you want to get any of the green stuff that you seemed all excited about?
Oh, there's that. There's the food truck. You guys didn't try the food truck. You heard about that.
I would like to rid the world of this blight as soon as possible.
So we should probably go. We can always come back and watch dinosaurs.
Before we go, I want to take Harrison with me to go get some tools, maybe. See if you can bring them with him up to.
Oh, for you sure? Like masonry tools and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Harrison, you'll see when you find him the next day before he's ready to set out. He's pretty much in the exact same attire he was in yesterday, but he has like a big, camping backpack on. And he does have sort of like slung behind the backpack is a weapon. And you can see that coiled around his hip is a long set of like really finely braided silk rope that is attached to this thing. And it looks to be a harpoon similar to what Rick has, but this is very different. So rather than like a spear coming to a barbed point with a rope tied on it, his comes up, forks out like this up, and then has barbs going this way. So it's about this wide from either end. So if you were to, you could throw it and it would go around and lock in, so you could hold on to something that way.
Woof.
Yeah. You get the feeling that possibly dinosaur wrangling can be dangerous. This is a weapon that's more or less outfitted to bring down large, thick-bodied animals, but also could seriously fuck you up. So he says, I'm ready to go. I got everything I need. Everything's ready to head out the north gate. What's up?
I was hoping you could bring some tools up there as well. I don't know how much you can bring.
Yeah, no. He says I've got your Styracosaurus, which it's got the harness, and I've got some of my traveling companions as well, so we can definitely carry quite a bit. What did you have in mind?
I'd have to go check out the tools. Maybe you would have some insight on that, but I hear that they're better than the norm.
He says, I don't think I'd be lying if I tell you the best tools you'll find anywhere are here in this town. You need to fix something, whatever the case may be, whatever it is, anything from masonry to fixing shoes, you want to get your tools here.
All right. Well, let's do that.
Okay, so you'll travel around and he'll show you a couple of different of the tool supplies. So this will basically cover any artisan's tools in the player's handbook. So that's alchemist supplies, brewer supplies, even things like calligraphy supplies, carpenter's tools, cartographer's tools, cobbler's tools, cook's utensils, glass blowing tools, jeweler's tools, leatherworking tools, masonry tools, painting supplies, potter's tools, smith's tools, tinker tools, weaver's tools, wood carver tools. I think I said cobblers, but if I didn't, cobblers is also in there too.
So we're gonna get a thing of carpenters, masonry, and smith tools.
Okay, so carpentry tools, that's going to run you 16 gold. Masonry will be 20. Smiths will be 40.
Okay.
mechanically, just so you know, Westwick purchased tools provide advantage on any artisan tools check
Ooh,
made with those tools.
take it from the party fund, I'm assuming, right? The money for this?
Sure.
It's going towards the tower.
Sure.
So was it 76?
They have thieves' tools.
Not out in the open, but if you were to look around, perhaps, or if you were looking in a slightly shadier place that may have employed artisan from here
To create them.
to create them with the process for that. Again, anything else you might need in the way of carts or also armor for not going down the same road as like the mechanical upgrades that you could purchase. You could also buy barding and armor for your dinosaurs or other creatures. They know how to make armor and barding for dinosaurs, so scaling it down to say a smaller amount would be easy for them.
Do you guys think we should just get a cart and send it with him?
You guys
He has his own.
No, I
creatures
meant
with him.
for Veilguard.
Yes.
Like, will never hurt to have a cart.
Right.
And in clearing stuff, it might be helpful.
Sure.
okay, cart's 15 gold.
Cool.
Yeah, and again, you guys could buy a wagon if you wanted, saddlebags, any of that kind of stuff. Chariots, even for the crazier dinosaur races, they do make chariots. It's an option. They're pricey, right? Because they're harder to, they're more intricate design because it needs to be better balanced than like a wagon.
Can I get a tattooer's kit?
Huh? Yeah.
Working community, right? They gotta have
No,
tours.
they do. They yeah, you
Oh.
can.
I would like one of those, please.
Ed Hardy Dino style. No.
No, there is actually a guy in one of the tattoo one of the tattoo shops in the town. There's not too many, like the more prominent one that people go to, and you recognize I'm looking for this book that's under here. The robes, the green robes of someone of your order
Hey.
who has left the monastery and is now here, doing his thing, and has sort of almost taken it to another level in that has taken the knowledge of crafting magical tattoos and has taken the hard-working mechanical step in Westwick of crafting these masterwork tattooing tools, and just never made it back to the Abbey because people will pay, like subpar tattooists will pay ridiculous amounts of money for these because it makes you inherently better regardless of your natural skill. So yeah, and he's like,
We're gonna be like,
and he's like, "Ugh," and he's excited too. Yeah. And,
sup,
and
man?
he's just like, man, we don't see, I don't really see much of anybody
Yeah.
from the Abbey down here. So what's up?
Not much. We're traveling the party. We're gotta find this evil scourge thing out east.
And he's like,
I'm gonna lean over to Rick and say, "This is the first time anyone's been happy to see her."
It's fair.
yeah,
He doesn't really know her from before. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Talk to him, chit chat to him about, tattooing. Do you know anything about tattooing with gems?
and he's like, I didn't spend, that was like the last bit of training. I know a little. I don't actually know how to do it, but I can tell you what you need and how it works and what it does.
Okay. Because I really want to learn how to do it, but I don't want to have to travel all the way back to the Abbey right now, because that is a long journey.
Yeah, it is not a short trip from here.
No.
But he says, listen, that's, it's, if you do that and learn how to do that and bring that with you out here,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be rolling in the money. Because because people will pay ridiculous amounts of money for that, right?
Good
You
to
can
know.
be like,
yeah.
if you're like, hey man, you work in the forges and you give me enough ruby dust and I can make fire not hurt you as much for a simple tattoo, that's a pretty big deal. People will be down for that.
Cool.
Only problem is you can only ever get one because the amount of ink and the magic infused in that is too much for most people's body to be able to take. So more than one has had catastrophic results.
On everybody, or like, can we get more than one?
He says, I don't have any, so I don't know. But they say on the normal person, who are most of the people who want that,
Yeah.
average folk who are like, I would really love to be smarter. And you're like, get this, tattoo, brain is better. And they're like, what? And you're like, yeah, that's what it's like.
Cool. So that's
Ever
how it
think-
works. Want a thing? Yeah, there you go.
Pretty much. He says, yeah, I mean,
Nice.
you can be stronger, more agile, hardier, wiser, more intelligent, even prettier. Or resistant to certain types of elements. But you get one choice.
Yeah.
You gotta make that choice wisely.
Okay. Alright. What's your name?
Oh, I just fucking had it.
Oh.
I put it away because I was like, she's not gonna ask. Oh,
Of course I'm gonna.
yeah, I know. Hang on.
We learned about that last time when we were how important names could be.
His name is. Oh boy, those are dumb names. God, I hate this. You give me a list of names and they're awful. One sec. I'll get you one. I had one and then I reread it and I was like, that's.
Is this his shop?
This is.
Or
It's
does
not.
he
He
just work
doesn't.
here?
He doesn't own it, but he's like the star pupil.
What is the
He's got the main
establishment
chair.
known as?
Yeah, he has the main chair, for sure.
What is the tattoo place called? Do you know?
I will get you that. Oh, here. I mean, there's some names.
Patrice. Oh, I miss Patrice.
Yep. It's Patrice's is the name of the shop.
We're HAPPY.
Every day. HAPPY. And this dude's name is. Vorg.
Borg? Stop, I can't understand what syllable he's
It's
saying.
Vorg.
Is it good? I couldn't hear
Yes.
the good.
Stab.
What's that? Okay. Oh, introduce myself and be like, cool.
He's like, yeah, I mean, you come on back if
Yeah.
you need any work done. It's
Will
hard to
do.
do that on yourself. I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out okay, but you really gotta pick that spot.
Yeah. It's hard to get practice when people won't let you practice on them.
And he's like, he's like, and he kind of like looks at you with like a knowing look, and he's like, have you tried? Have you tried outside of the people you travel with to just be like, when you're in a
No.
tavern and you're like, what's up, everyone in the tavern? I come from the monastery and I trained in making tattoos. Who wants a tattoo? And then people might be in for that.
That's a smart idea.
To prove Vorg's point, you didn't tell me that you.
Well, I assumed you guys would say no. You guys, yeah.
Alright.
Do you want a tattoo?
Are you offering?
Sure. Got these fancy new tattoo kits.
I'd be probably not right now, but
Maybe next week when I have time to think about it.
Yeah.
Cedric, if there was ever a time for you to get a nice new face tattoo,
Ooh.
today is the day for
Today
that.
is the day.
You know, I was thinking about a tribal tattoo like right around here.
That would accentuate your brutality most effectively.
What would be what's probably the most interesting is Rick may have tattoos.
We might.
That's
We don't
true.
know.
He might.
One, you can't probably even see them
Yeah.
now from
Nope.
the hair.
Yeah. Oh.
How much was
You
the
didn't get to
tattoo
that
kit?
part in the dialogue.
50 gold.
50?
And
Just because they're not too I mean, they're pretty high demand for them.
I'd probably want one too, you know.
And he's like, man, are you telling me you want one, or are you gonna have her do it? Cause like, I could do it, but like,
I don't know, man.
we're gonna probably get a rush here and like a little, well, not a rush, but we're gonna get people.
I don't think we have the time right now.
And he's like, all right, man. Well, you've got someone who's trained.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you should tell people that you
Alright.
can do that, because if you want to get practice,
That's fair.
you have to tell people you can do it, because they're not gonna just be like, man, hey, you look like you can tattoo. Will you do that?
Hello, tiny child. Could you put needles in me, please?
Yeah. So.
No one has ever said that.
No.
Surprisingly.
They will never. I think I, like Sean, might have been the first person to say that sentence in the history of humanity.
It's fair.
So he says, but like, obviously, it takes time.
Yeah.
So, if you say this in a bar, you might have to tell those people, like, listen, we're limited to, a 2-inch piece because we got time here, unless you're going to be there for a while.
And be able to do multiple visits.
Yes, correct. But if people are like, man, I really just want, like, a circle for something, or like some simple
Room
little
or
thing.
something.
Yeah, that would be a thing you could do. And also, if you do it well, you can start to build a reputation as to like, oh, there's this traveling tattoo child who gives these badass tattoos in bars randomly. You might run into her, and then somebody will be like, oh, I ran into her. Look, I got this piece. And then the legend builds, and then people are going to be looking for you.
Smart.
And he's just like,
Thanks, man.
yeah, that's what you do.
Fill their card in ink.
He's like, I don't know what that means, but all right.
See? Because the people,
We're the Veil
the
Guard.
monks back at the Abbey didn't exactly, train us as to, like, go into the world and become a tattoo artist.
Well, yeah, I mean, part
So
of
I
the
didn't think of it before.
part of the reason is we have the ability to make tattoos that let us do supernatural things.
Fair.
And if we start training other people in the art of doing that, then that gets out, and then it's not a special thing anymore.
That's fair.
So, they also, they're not like the biggest fans of us using the very, disciplined training we got to make money, because you don't need it when you're there.
That's fair.
But like, I don't know, they let you go out into the world to see it anyway, and if you want to stay out here, you need money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, make it work for you.
Cool, man. Nice to have met you.
Yeah, you too.
Is there, like, some, like, monk secret handshake?
Sure.
And if not, can there be?
Yeah.
Boop each other's noses at the same time.
Oh.
Good seeing you.
Boop, boop.
Sure. Whatever it is, you do that.
Boop.
Yeah, you and Vorg do that.
Are we gonna start doing that in real life now?
Do you want to?
So,
What comes in the tattooer's kit? Inks, needle.
inks.
Just in case.
Move
on.
What?
Okay. No, he was just like he was running up to give me things that Rick would do, so we could just keep things rolling.
Oh, cool.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, it'll be a set of inks, and they're very vibrant inks. You have a full kind of rainbow of colors.
Nice. Is there an expiration date on them? Or are we going to keep track of, like, if I run out of it?
You don't see an expiration date per se, but it's hard to say how much you'll need because right now you haven't given it.
Well, yeah.
So
Okay.
it's got red, orange, green, yellow,
Rainbow
blue,
colors.
indigo, violet, but then the black one is significantly larger.
Okay.
And there is a very small one of white because it's not super common.
Yes.
And then, there's obviously
That answer.
there's
Very
like there's needles and hammers and that kind of stuff to do
Yeah.
all of the that you would need to do that.
I know.
No, it show up
Well,
on
we
Wave
show
too.
up on Wave.
So that is what you get, and you've got it in a nice little box with a little latch.
While we're
So next
traveling-
time we hunker down sometime.
Yeah, while we're traveling, work on the design.
Well, do you have anything you would like? Or
Yes.
placements? What would you like?
I would like a skeletal hand grasping a set of scales.
Like weighing scales?
Yes.
Okay.
So for the skeletal hand, white would be appropriate.
Fine.
Okay, so you guys
So think about the design as we go.
leave. Rick goes and buys rations.
He does! Pat is crushing this again!
He suggests that Rick might buy a cart for you guys to travel, but that does come with the potential that you'll need something to pull it more than unless he means like a hand cart to carry stuff. But yeah, so rations, yes.
Always rations.
If you guys want to buy a cart and something to pull it, for whether for carrying things or yourselves, or like I said, a wagon, maybe a couple of things to pull it. That's more. You guys have more than enough money to do it, and you're not training things for like specific tasks. You're buying something to walk. Like, if that's an option you want to do.
If you wanted, we could get, let's say, like a draft horse or a cart horse. And then next time we go to the Veilguard
Mhm,
Spire,
there.
I was going to say gift it to
Yeah.
Brother Drander.
Oh,
That
yeah.
way He can get to and from a little faster, and we can also have some benefits in the short term.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Or I guess some other kind of smaller draft animal. I think too big might be a burden.
Right. I think a horse is good.
A horse, of course.
Right. So you guys see, as you guys are going about town, you see Harrison after you buy all the tools that you need. He asks if you're good, and he kind of he says he's gonna head out, and he kind of walks with you over to the tools to his cart, which he has your Styracosaurus all hooked up with its harness and ready to go, and he has with him and he has like a cage with your 4 Compsognathus in it. You see Celine,
Sorry.
a dark green one
He'll tell you the colors.
of the
Oh,
compies that you
oh.
bought,
Oh,
because you wanted 4 specific ones.
that's true. Okay, so a dark green.
You have just a dark green one. You had a lighter green one with like tiger stripes, kind of along the basically along the back ridges, the tiger stripes. You have one that is basically like this table color brown, and then the last one is like a key lime green with kind of like Dalmatian spots of darker green.
Cool.
Albinos provide too much issues if you're traveling overland.
Ah.
So, cool collector piece, not great for practicality.
Also, then you see all the brown around their mouth, and then you gotta then you know that they're eating shit, and it's less fun when you have to see the shit on their mouth.
And you see that he has kind of pulling a cart with him a Stegosaurus, and the Stegosaurus is brown, and all of the plates along the back are like a vibrant crimson red. And he also has next to him it's about as tall as him, is one of these lithe bipedal, clearly carnivorous dinosaur, but it is like a mottled blue, like a royal blue with kind of black spots, and it has orange crests, 2 crests on the head. This is a Dilophosaurus, but it's a full-grown one, so it's like taller than him.
That's awesome.
And you see that his, he does have sort of like a collar around this one that it's not hooked up, but it seems like it has kind of hanging down like a reservoir right around here with tubes that seem like they attach to the lower jaw, but they're not attached. And he kind of puts all the tools you bought in the cart.
We're gonna give him the money
Yeah.
And the
he's
cart?
in the cart.
in the cart, yeah, and he'll hook that up to your Styracosaurus.
Okay.
And he'll put the plow and the dozing blade in there. And he's like, all right. He's like, do you anticipate, so you guys want me, he said, are they going to be building anything while I'm up there? So I'll be teaching your folks up there how to plow and how to doze with the Styracosaurus. And they're going to be building stuff.
Yes.
And they've got all the materials they need to do the building.
If not, we're sending you with money
Did you already do
to
the
get the materials.
send?
I didn't send the message yet. I wanted to wait until after, in case anything changed.
And he says, because my buddy here, he can help a little bit with building as far as putting things together. But if you want to do that, he's like, I only have so much, in my pack and then also in this reservoir. So if that's a thing you want, it might not be a bad idea to, I'm going to ask you for some money. But he says this, and he kind of gestures to the collar. And he says, it kind of goes off of the sort of innate natural ability that they have to expel kind of an acidic venom. But this is an attachment that I had those upgrade people build. And this, when fastened on it, launches an extremely sticky glue. Like, enough you can use this to build things with significantly.
Cement together.
More or less, yeah.
Nice.
So I have this if you think you'll need it, but I only have so much that I'm bringing with me because you never know. But if that's a thing you want, throw me a little gold and then I can replenish my stocks when I get
Oh
back.
yeah,
Um,
that's a good idea.
do you guys think we should just leave it to Brother Drander? Or in Sorrow? If
For
he has the
like what he
4,000.
needs. That's true. Yeah.
He's got the 4,000.
Well, yeah. I would
That'd be
say
fine,
like
all
we
the
shouldn't.
We are sending gold with you to our people. You'll be meeting Brother Drander and Sorrow.
Okay.
They will have all the money for
Supplies.
building expenses, so anything that you can provide, they will be
Okay.
able to pay you for.
All right. Cool.
We should send that message.
I will. Is there anything you'd like to tell them ahead of time? I'm sending them a message so they know.
No, just let them know that Harrison's on his way and what I'm bringing and who I'm bringing. I've got a Dilophosaurus, a Stegosaurus, and the Styracosaurus that's there to stay. Just so they know, and that I hope they're interested in learning how to train dinosaurs because they're going to be. That's what's going to happen.
Very well.
So,
Thank you.
all right. What?
So we hope so too.
Yeah. Turns out Brother Drander terrified of dinosaurs.
Can't.
And Sorrow's allergic somehow.
Yeah, it's weird. And he's
They don't have dander, but she is allergic.
Yeah, and he kind of climbs up, sort of between some of the plates on the Stegosaurus, and they sort of just start heading out. And he's kind of got like reins around the Styracosaurus, and he's kind of like moving it along with his. And they head off north out of Westwick towards Veilguard Spire.
Cool.
So you send them off with your tools. You have your upgraded tattoo kit. Rick buys the rations that he needs. We'll call it, I don't know, it's Rick, 40 gold worth of rations. Whatever that actually comes out to be. I don't know off the top of my head. I think rations are maybe a silver or 5 silver, I forget. Now you had discussed possibly buying a cart and some sort of draft animal of some kind to pull it, or animals. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but a cart, again, is like whatever I said, 25 gold or something like that. Or you could buy a wagon, I think is 35. So that would be, I don't know.
Which one travels faster?
I mean, it's really just the amount, or a carriage. That's also an option that you have, right? So a cart, think about like, maybe, I think a wagon is probably 4 wheels and mounting hookups. A cart is likely 2 wheels.
Yeah.
And a carriage is more or less like an Oregon Trail covered wagon, but not
Oh, okay.
necessarily. It doesn't have to be. It could be like a carriage that's closed top with a door on the side, like a noble
stagecoach.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, stagecoach. Whatever you can design what you want and tell me what you want, and I'll tell you the price, and then I can give you an idea of, based on the weight of it plus you, how many and what kind of animals you'll need to pull it.
Okay. So, do we want something that's gonna carry all of us, or just something that's carrying our supplies?
All of us?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever you guys
No,
want.
I know. I'm just mulling it over. Okay, because then that's the four of us, Tag Cooper, all of our stuff. So we probably need more than one horse, I would assume, for something that big and that heavy.
More than likely. You're also not going to get a horse in this town.
Not a horse, but you know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Animals, creatures, whatever.
You look like you're going to say something.
I was writing the sending. Are we counting Rick as heavy as he is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there dinosaurs that could pull a stagecoach?
Oh, yeah. I mean, most of them could. I mean, except for, like, velociraptors.
Expediently?
I mean, you know, as...
Not like crazy fast, but
Yeah, yeah.
Decent pace.
Yeah, they
faster
definitely
than a
could.
horse,
Like,
or
Westwick's equivalent of a draft horse.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
okay.
something not too big, something that we could feed off the land
and control.
and control, yes, and won't eat us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the message for that we're gonna send. What do you guys think? While Ted's looking this up. Sorrow, we're sending help. Harrison will train you and Drander on the compies and
Styracosaurus.
Styracosaurus. I wrote that wrong. He has 4,000 gold to help with repairs. That is 24 words. Thoughts?
Instead of he has, I think we should say we're sending.
I thought you said that at the start. Or
Sorrow.
It just says we're sending help.
We're
This makes it seem
sending
like it's his goal.
trainer
We should
and
let them know.
dinosaurs
We're sending them.
with gold
With him.
You're both talking to me at the same time.
for Veilguard. Expect him this time. Also sending draft horse and cart for you.
We're not sending
Human.
a draft horse and cart for him.
We're not sending that. Just the
Send
cart.
just the cart.
Just the cart for
This
Little Rick, as I am now calling the Styracosaurus.
little Rick.
Little Rick.
I was gonna go for Spike.
Also a good one.
Also named Spike. Little Rick, aka
Hey, Spike, you can have two
aka
names.
Spiky.
My dog's name is Shayla. I call her Doodlebutt. It can have more than one name.
Jake's got a dog called Brother Dog, also named Buddy.
I like it.
I mean, more often than not, I just call Buffy Smush because she would, I think she'd just like, when she would lay down on the couch up in Kingston like this, she'd get up and her lips would just stay all smushed up like that. Her face would be all smushed. So I just call her Smush.
She seems much happier now that she's fat.
You know, I mean, I think it's just because Wes keeps feeding her.
It's fair.
I mean, he also like doesn't want. He always wants to be like in her face. You saw it today, like hugging her and like laying on top of her, and like she's tolerant of that most of the time because he also has food. So
Fair.
yeah, she just has a lot more room to run around over there.
Good.
So things that can pull your, as funny as it is, probably the closest thing to a draft horse would be an Allosaurus. So that is a large sized creature, same movement speed as a draft horse, same strength, actually stronger than a draft horse. Or yeah,
Are those the ones with the spikes on
No, that was
that's what Festus was.
Festus was.
Well, Festus was a medium-sized version.
Oh, okay.
Because I made him that, so I
Yes.
could not have to deal with the size issue. But they are normally large size. They are actually better armor, better AC, better hit points, same speed, but stronger and hardier than like a war or
So
draft
happy
horse.
I got trimmed.
As you, Ash, a Pachycephalosaurus is actually not as fast, although I'm not sure they can charge, so I guess you could argue one way or another. A Triceratops has a 50-foot movement speed, so they're, pretty quick.
That's fair.
Let's see. Where is it? Utah Raptor, or Zeloraptor, which are like a traditional velociraptor, but like 10 feet tall, 8 to 10 feet tall. They have a 50-foot movement speed as well.
Allosauruses are carnivorous, right?
Yes. Basically everything I've said except for the Triceratops is carnivorous.
What do you think? Wave.
It's a good question.
I thought so.
So, like, I think we should get the stagecoach. And,
I mean, the T-Rex is pretty fast too, but that's a whole nother...
Oh, no, thank you.
No,
A hard no.
no. Was there any difficulty levels of handling between the ones you mentioned?
So, I mean, Allosaurus are, let's see, how do we want to say this?
They're bipedal?
What?
They're bipedal?
Yeah, they're all bipedal. So it'd be a little, they're not designed to be draft animals per se, but they're strong and they're fast.
Oh, okay.
So they could be rigged up to pull, but typically when people think about something that's pulling a
Not
cart, they think of
demonstrably
a
different than what I wrote.
quadrupedal creature.
Alright.
But no, it's good.
So
No,
that
no, you
is,
send yours.
those are
You're the one
options
sending
that you have. I mean, there's other dinosaurs that we can look up as well if you are interested. You've got Hadrosauruses have a 15-foot movement speed, right? That's Ducky, Land Before Time. Again,
Can I get a hadrosaur?
you think so?
Plessy?
Maybe
I think.
from the
From the
Adventures League?
Yeah.
yeah, I have an Allosaurus for my guy,
Oh, that's awesome.
but he eats people.
Oh,
so.
that's awesome.
But I just killed him because you have to pay a lot of money to keep him handled.
Gotcha.
And I just killed him and someone was a fine Steve instead. So
Better move.
it doesn't cost any money to feed
no.
him.
I think we should go for an herbivore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So either the
Triceratops?
Triceratops or maybe a couple of Platysaurs.
I like the Triceratops better.
Okay.
Platysaurus, the ducky.
They're actually bipedal too,
I like
not quadrupedal. So
Triceratops better.
Triceratops is you could probably do it with one
Okay.
Triceratops.
Yeah.
They got a 22 strength, a full grown one, so they're pretty strong.
Cool.
And it's basically like a jacked up bull.
They can go for so they can go for a long time too, or
They got they got a 50-foot movement speed. They're
good
huge
comp.
size though, so they're bigger than like this. They're about this. If you think about the size of creatures, right? So you got horses are large, they're huge, so they're like on the same equivalency as like a giant, if you will. Well, you guys you've seen skeletons, you know how big they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're pretty strong. 17 constitution, right? So pretty hardy. They also aren't bad in a fight, although yours won't be trained for that. It'll be,
Shit.
What?
I forgot to tell Harrison before he left to tell Brother Drander, like when they're rebuilding the stables, to like cordon it off for
You
Yeah.
didn't send the message
a
yet.
small. No, but that's a lot of information for
Oh.
the message. I wanted to tell Harrison to tell them
Ah.
that to save kind
Figure
of
it out.
words.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so yeah, you can
Cram
buy
it all into 25 words.
for 500 gold. Actually, for a grand total of 600 gold, you can get your stagecoach and a Triceratops.
When you send a message, they hear it in your voice, right?
Yes.
So like they'll know it's us.
Yes.
You don't have to clarify.
Yes.
I thought we always used to clarify.
Yes, because we usually send messages to people who we're not very familiar with.
And also, they weren't sending kits either, so they were in your head.
Yeah.
So, like, you just hear a voice in your head. If it's out loud and other people are around, people can be like, oh, was that?
Yeah.
It sounded like that one guy. Oh, shit, yeah, it's probably them. They could do that, maybe.
And also, like, the people who we messaged, or
Didn't
we sent a message to
understand.
last time.
Didn't know how it worked.
Well, I was going to say that, like, we had very little interaction with them one-on-one. Like, the lion guard of the monk place,
Yeah.
as one is accurately called, like, he had talked to any of us, or not me at all, but he talked to you guys maybe once. So you had to say, like, hey, it's me.
Yeah. He also, fun fact, he said that Brina was 15 because in the episode where Brina was introduced, she was 15.
Oh.
What? Who called me 15?
You.
No, I know.
In the first episode, the Grandmaster of Lions called. She's like, I think she was 15, because they're like, you were saying you were 12, so he remembers what you said you actually were when you first showed up. As did the internet, and called you out on that and said, like, make him say she's 15, like she was when she first showed up.
Yeah, that was her trying to say she was 15. And then they
Sure,
called her
yeah.
out on it.
Crushed it.
Celine just couldn't decide on how old she wanted to be. She flip-flopped for like 4 sessions. Or she's just been lying this whole time.
Or she really is babyface Celine.
So I conclusively proved that she isn't. Alright, so is this coming out of the party fund? Alright, let's get that stuff and hit the road.
Okay, you do that. So you now have a stagecoach, essentially. The design of it, I'll let you guys figure out what you want. I mean, it can't be anything too custom because you're not taking the time to build it. You're buying it kind of off the shelf, if you will. And yeah, you were able to go back and get a Triceratops, 500 gold, get the stagecoach, get it all hooked up and rigged up. They'll teach you basically. Yeah, here we go. In the chat, it went from 15 to 10 to 14 to 11 to 12. Chat's keeping track of you, Celine. They're calling you out on your bullshit.
I thought it was 13 now.
No, it's been 12 for
Okay,
it's been 12 for a while.
Yeah.
12 is what I landed on.
It's gonna be 13 soon.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, we don't.
You've been
We
on
don't know
Brina's
when my
birthdays.
birthday is, so maybe.
But anyway, yes, you have all that, and you're ready to go. Anybody want any? I mean, you've got. This is basically. We don't have to go through the role playing aspect of any of this before you leave. But anything else you want to do, buy, purchase, tools, other supplies, weapons, armor, items, upgrades for your new Triceratops that you literally just got.
I'm good. Kalimvor has provided all I need. This fucking sweet sword.
Chat says put flames on it, so it goes faster.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Paint flames on
24.
the stagecoach.
Oh,
You
why don't
can
we-
go buy painter supplies.
Why don't we tattoo flames on the
Carts?
on the car? Yeah. She already has the ink and the needles. We can just do that. Yes.
25.
I'm gonna agree with the chat. Spend 40 gold of Rick's gold and get him upgraded masterwork smith's tools.
Oh yeah.
Need separate horse and dino stables.
Remember, you also have tools that
Clear
you use
precise.
if you want
I'll
to
get
buy
some new
upgraded
ones.
versions of those.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of you guys have tools, so
So I'm gonna buy alchemist and herbalism kit.
Alright, upgraded. Actually, herbalism kit is not artisan's tools,
Well, it's
but alchemist supplies are 100 gold.
Brewers kit.
Brewer's kit, yeah, 40 gold.
done.
For brewer's kit, 100 for alchemists.
40, you said?
Yes.
What comes with that?
Pat, you're
Do I
proficient
get
in
supplies to actually make
alchemist
stuff,
and
or is
herbalism.
that comes separately? It's just tools.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, is it just the tools or actual supplies to make it?
That is, it is basically the supplies in that you'll have like your.
Oh, I lied. Not a brewer's. I already have a brewer's kit. Glass blowers. That
Yeah,
one.
well, this would be this would be masterwork brewer supplies, so you'd have
Oh,
advantage.
that's true. Okay,
And glass blowers, yeah, 60 gold for a glass blowers kit.
cool.
This isn't the supplies to do. It says supplies, but it's basically the means to do what you need to do. You can buy, whatever you think. Oh, here you go. You're in the town that's the largest exporter of all citrus fruits. If you wanted, let's say, lemon and maybe limes, maybe cherries, things to make
Yeah,
what you know how to make, this would be the place to get those supplies.
I would like to get those, please.
Yes, you can get all of those things. You're able to get lemons, limes, cherries,
Cherry,
whatever else you think you want to make.
the stuff for the alcoholic portion?
Um,
Or is it just
sugar
the-
and yeast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, you can get that here.
But bam!
But you
Oh.
can also get, if you want to make that. Put some cards in the wheels and flags and streamers on the side and a horn.
Whoa, it'll
Can we
look
put
so
a basket
cool.
in the front?
You can do whatever you want.
Sure.
As much as So yeah, you have your upgraded alchemist supplies. He's got upgraded smith's tools. You now have upgraded glass blowers and
Tattooers.
brewers and tattoo kit. So those are all set to go. Give Rick. I'm making these calls for Jake, but probably spend another 30 and buy him upgraded cartographer's tools too,
Yes.
because I'm sure he would while
Oh,
he's
yeah.
here. Okay. So those are all things. And did you want to look at any upgrades for Tad Cooper, or were you good?
Would they stay on him because he disappears and then comes back?
I mean, he hasn't.
Huh?
I mean, he hasn't in a while.
That's true. But I'm just saying, like, would they lose the upgrades if he dies?
If anything, they would drop to the ground,
Oh, and they just have to be
and then you just
fixed.
have to pick it back up.
I'm good for now.
Let us away.
Sure. All right.
Can he get wings?
Probably not. But you didn't go to the shop unless you tell me you go and ask.
That's true.
Did
No,
you go
it's
to the
fine.
shop and look?
No. Maybe. Yes.
There we go. So
Just to see.
yeah, you go and you can see there's all manner of different things. There are, as we said before, you see like the sort of jackhammer tail attachments for Triceratops. You see the sort of bed systems and things for large low to the ground like ankylosauruses and things like that. You saw the wrecking ball that you had heard about that was on the T-Rex that was outside of Blake's place. You see again some of those kind of outfits that you saw for Harrison's traveling companion that will activate the glue. You see things like treads and wheels to replace missing limbs, or possibly replace limbs altogether with treads, if that's a thing the route you want to go. But you also see other things like sort of enhancements to go over, to basically make onboard armor, but like spike covers to cover up like stegosaurus spikes, or to cover up the plates on their back, or like claw fixtures to go over and cover up existing claws to make them now metallic or otherwise, things like that.
Would that mechanically make his attacks better?
I mean, I don't know. Are you interested?
Maybe.
There's also things like hydraulic pieces around jaws to increase bite force or have things locked down, things like that. There are attachments to sort of replace or sort of go over eyes to make lights, like flashlights kind of attachments. That kind of thing. They're just the crane pieces that you saw for the long necked dinosaurs.
How much for armor for the Triceratops?
What kind of armor?
Just to protect them.
No, but like
Plate.
man.
Yeah.
Plate.
That's gonna be 4,500 gold. Actually,
How much are the attachments?
yeah, man, that's what Bardic costs. 4 times the amount of whatever actually, that's even, I lowballed you there. So plate mail's 1,500 gold times 4. That's why we were so excited when we just said, "Hey Pat, can we get plate armor for our griffins?" And you're like, "Sure." I'm like, "Cool, thanks, man." 6,000 gold actually is the number, but
How much for like the different attachments, like for the claws and for the biting and all that type of stuff,
so
and the flashlights? Because I can't see in the dark.
okay, go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
4.
Okay. I'll remind you, you do have 12 charges and an inspiration.
I'm lucky.
And you're lucky, which is a freebie.
7.
So that's a luck. That was the freebie. You have inspiration and 12 charges.
I have 2 inspirations.
Oh, then there you go.
+1.
Jesus. 8.
Alright, so they'll tell you
No, of course.
Well-
The one that's not a real roll.
they can get you the claw upgrades for about 500 gold pieces. And they come in a variety of different metals and things, so that would be about that.
But again, what does that do for him?
Well, I mean, technically, they're not going to tell you the mechanics
I
of what
know.
these things do. But if you were to, say, have some sort of metal crafted around that might be magical in a nature, then that could do something like making the attacks be magic. The claw attacks be magic.
Okay.
So for 500 gold, you could make his claw attacks be considered magic for the purposes of overcoming damage resistance.
Nah, I think good. Or no.
And the bite force thing would be that'd be 1,500 gold, and that allows that as part of a bite attack, you could make a grapple check as part of the bite because you clamp down with the hydraulics clamp down and hold them with the grapple.
Okay.
And it would be 250 to outfit his eyes with basically headlights that are regular, and then when you activate them, they shine light like a torch, basically, but in a cone, more like a bullseye, 2 focused bullseye lanterns. That would be that. What else do we have? Oh, you could choose to have, this would be the tricky part, you could choose to have his hands cut off at the wrist and replaced with sort of like clamping type claws that have cables that can shoot out and grab things and reel back in. I mean, but then he could be like, grab stuff and reel it back in. But gotta cut his hands off.
Or just one.
Which is one, that's true, half the price. Be a little unbalanced for attacking, but
Yeah. Kind of want to do the bite one.
um,
No crap.
Triceratops, obviously, you have the option for the blade on the front, the jackhammer tail. You could replace the legs with
What about the claw?
like tank treads,
Overcome resistance.
so that way you can go all terrain, up and over things. Never have to worry about broken legs.
Alright.
Might increase the speed a little bit. No?
No.
I would like to do the claws, please.
Okay, so they'll take a little bit and they will basically wrap metal around all of the claws, hands and foot claws. And now Ted Cooper's claw attacks are considered magic for the purposes of overcoming damage resistance. Headlights on the Triceratops if you want that as well as an option.
We'll do that.
Alright, so you'll watch as they go and they do that.
How much for that?
It's like 250. But you say that and you don't think anything of it, and you watch as they literally sedate the Triceratops and pop its eyeballs out of its sockets and replace them with these headlight. They're now functional eyes that
No,
are
wait
also,
a second. I thought they were things that like went
s-
above it.
I turned my back for 2 minutes, and you popped out our new Triceratops'
See, I didn't
Why
think
is it that
that's
just goes
what
around?
happened. Yeah. I thought it was like a fixture, like.
Oh, you could have asked for that, but they didn't have.
I thought that's what it was!
No, I mean you could
I
have.
would have said
At that
something!
that point, you probably should have just bought lanterns and hung lanterns from it.
Too
That's
late
what
now.
I kind of thought it was. Oh, God.
These are literally
Oh.
mechanical upgrades for these things.
Oh, Tyr, Torm, and Ilmater, forgive me.
It's fine. I mean, when it wakes up, it seems like a little disoriented, but it seems for the eyes focus in, and you can see they're like, they're mechanical eyes. They seem to be able to see just fine, and then you can see that like it like and the eye lights up, and it shoots out light like a headlight of a car, and they can turn it off, and then they're regular eyes. Just have to figure out how to make it do that on command.
I'm
But
so disturbed by this.
Well, it's too late now.
Wait,
Did we ever send the message to Bertrand?
not yet.
Okay, we have to do that.
So you thought that spending 250 gold for the equivalent of a lantern was a reasonable decision? Like, so first off, like, you shouldn't have spent 250 gold on a lantern. And when it was 250 gold, you should have been like, wait a second.
it's like 20 gold for 2 lanterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't shine
So
as well. I thought it was like
this
an apparatus that
is
allowed
why
it
he-
to
Oh, you
shine
mean
way
like 20
better.
gold for 2 bullseye lanterns that are directional that would work like headlight? Yeah, that's 20 gold plus oil.
So that is why Brina here is in charge of the party fund.
Yep, you did that, didn't you, Wave?
Why are you like this?
Alright, why don't you guys sit in the coach for now, and I
Okay.
will.
Cause I'm ready to go. Oh, can we get food from that food truck before we go?
Sure.
Cool. I'm gonna go do that.
Okay.
I will wait here to leave.
Okay.
And send the message.
You're going to send the message?
Yeah.
Okay. Send the message. Let me get the message. Tell me what it is.
Hey. Sending man with dinosaurs and 4,000 gold to help rebuild. Harrison will teach you to train them. Need separate horse and dinosaur stables.
Okay. And he responds with, great.
This was to Sorrow.
Oh, to Sorrow.
To Sorrow. Because she's the one who's more often there.
Fair. And she says, that sounds great. I'll let Drander know. Things are going well. Look forward to meeting him.
Cool.
That poor girl. She
What?
spent all this time at the shrine, and she's like, I'm free. You get to stay at Belgard.
She accepted the ring willingly.
Yeah.
You know, so she did it. She knew what she did, and she devoted her whole life to Ilmeter. So,
All right.
She's a manual laborer. She's suffering for the cause.
yeah. All right. So we will deal with you going to Monster Foodies next week. So as a reminder, we do have our couple of sponsors that we talked about at the start: Initiative Coffee Company.
Woo!
And Elderwood Academy. Initiative Coffee Company will be debuting their new roast on Friday. And Elderwood Academy does have a Google form request out there. I posted it on Twitter about the Hex Chest Nanos. If you'd like to try to get one, fill out that form and tell them you're interested so you can make sure that you actually get one. Also, again, I'll put the link to the giveaway for the Stranger Things starter set in the chat if you'd like to enter to try to win that.
I'd like to.
I would like to.
We do, if you have a base level subscription, the $5.99 a month, or the Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime subscription. Or as a reminder, you now get 3 emotes. For that, you get the Orange Natural 20, the Why Are You Like This, and the Purple Snake TPK emote. Those are all available to base level subscribers. Let's see. What else do we have? D&D Live 2019 is in the middle of May in LA. It's a live streaming event where the Wizards of the Coast team will be unveiling the new campaign before it comes out. It's a big streaming event. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool people there. I will also be in attendance there. I'll be streaming in the last... it's about an hour and a half is about the stream time that every group gets. So will be the last streamed game on Sunday. I think it's like 2:45 or 2:15. I don't remember exactly, but that's Pacific time. So I will be there. I'm a level 10 character, and I haven't figured out what my stats are yet, but or any of that good stuff. But soon, more information to come. Yeah, and I will be back tomorrow building Doctor Strange for real this time. Because last week I was away for work, so that didn't happen. Also, please let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube or in the chat or wherever you may be finding this, what you thought about the new lighting setup. It looks like the lights here on the stream look like we are significantly brighter. It also helps bring up the quality of cheaper webcam cameras. Lighting really does a wonder to make a $20, $50 webcam look like a $250 camera. And also how the sound is. Again, we're still figuring this all out, but we did our best to try to get you guys the best possible quality we could get without totally breaking the bank on this. And it is all thanks to you guys, and your donations over time have gone to upgrading. There is literally 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 18, is that right? I've done the math.
19, I think.
18 or 19 track lights here in this house right now that are above me. If I zoom out, you can kind of see them somewhat here. I installed 19 individual lights here to shine on both the minis behind me as well as on all of us. There is a very fancy mixer board over here with 3 brand new choir quality microphones, drop mics hanging from the ceiling here. We're doing everything to try to get you guys the best possible thing. And if this does sound as good as I hope it does, from probably around this episode going forward, we'll start doing these as podcasts as well, but I'm not going to have you guys have the tinny, ear-piercing mic stuff we've had for the past 44 episodes. We want to give you guys good quality audio. Be on the lookout for summary videos and audio coming soon, where we'll go back and recap with nice, good quality audio, everything that's happened thus far. So if you want to listen in just podcast form and want to jump into where we are with nice, short 5-minute or so recap videos of everything that's happened, you can get that and then jump into the new stuff and not be completely left out. More on that to come in the coming weeks. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys next week. Also, hope you've enjoyed the kind of the new schedule we started, which is a little bit of Smash Brothers beforehand. And the plan is after that to do a little bit of Q&A, chat candidly with you guys before we roll into the actual game. Started to sort of demo that this week. We'll see how that goes in the following weeks. Summary, Rick, wave, animal abuse, Chongo saves the world. Chongo changes the world.
That's pretty much the whole campaign.
Accurate.
That is the campaign.
Yes.
So thank you, Ash, and everyone else who's live in the chat. We will see you guys next week.